CD Projekt has announced the next 10 years of gaming. Let's talk about it. Good morning, evening, or afternoon. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the XP Podcast, episode 28 for the third week of October 2022. I'm one of your hosts, Mike Z, and joining me once again back from our break is the Birdman himself, Logan B. What's up, man?
What is up? Glad to be back. Feels like it's been literally forever. This is probably the longest break I've had since being on the podcast. It's been 2 weeks. It's weird. But yeah, no, I'm excited to get into it. We got a lot of good news to talk about, maybe some controversial news, but nothing too bad. We won't get too ranty or too bad about it. But I also have some very exciting news to talk about, whether it be a game or something else pretty big. So other than that, let's get right into it.
Well, actually, it's been 3 weeks since you've been on. It's been 2 weeks since we
Has it
posted an
really?
official episode, and that was DJ and I on the last one because we took last week off. So technically, it's been 3 weeks since anyone's heard anything from you. Crazy.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, that's really weird. That's probably why it feels like it's been forever.
Yeah. So how things go? How have things gone for you on this 3 week hiatus?
Pretty good. The other week when you guys recorded when I wasn't here, the camp thing was pretty good. Played some weird games I've never heard of in my life. One was Carpet Pool, which if you haven't played that game before, or if that magical one person that listens to this actually knows what it is, it's a very fun. It's really hard to describe because it's like shuffleboard, but it's all made out of carpet in the inside and like you basically throw the white ball to hit all of their pool balls into their little hole, I would say. And it's actually really fun and really like competitive. It was really good. Basically, at this church camp thing that I went to, we did a lot of like very competitive uh, tournaments. So it was really cool. And they also did a thing called Hammer and Stump, I believe, or Nail and Stump. I forgot what it's called. You basically what you do is at the beginning you're around this circle, around this stump. This sounds like the most country thing ever, by the way. You basically take a nail, like a pretty big nail or whatever, and you hit it into the stump a little bit, and then everyone does that. But keep your eye on the nail that you put into the stump. And basically, the whole point of the game is you're trying to hit their nail all the way into the stump completely to the point where it's flat, and that makes them out of the game. But it's not just as easy as you hand them a hammer and they hit the nail in. No, you have to do a trick to catch the hammer in order to hit it in. So if you like throw it in front of you and catch it, then you get one hit. If you do it under your leg, you get two hits. But then if you do it behind your back, you get three hits. It's really good. I ended up splitting my hand open and bleeding all over the place. I had to get bandages, but it was fun. It was a good time. It was a really fun game. And then other than that, what was the other game? Oh, I played Nine Squares, what it was called, I believe. Uh, Also very fun game. Hard to explain. It's basically like it's a revolving game where basically you're trying to be the king of the hill, where literally the person in the middle hits a ball up, but you're trying to hit it to other people's square. They only get one hit if they mess up and or they miss, and it goes through their square, they're out. And then the person that's behind them moves up, and it just keeps going and going and going. Also, very, very fun. Really, really good game. But yeah, and that was a fun little weekend. And then let's see, this weekend I had two weddings in a row, which was interesting to have to go to two different weddings in one weekend. That was pretty fun. The first wedding we went to had Amish people in it. It was absurdly country, more country than I've ever seen before. That was interesting. It was pretty good though. We didn't really stay for the whole thing. We ended up getting Mexican, but and then yesterday we went to another wedding that was with a bunch of my college friends, and that was pretty fun. They had free alcohol, so that's a bonus. But other than that, yeah, it's been a pretty good last few weeks. I have more exciting game news to talk about and stuff, but I'm gonna save that for what we've been doing. So, what about you, Mike? How's your last? Well, I guess yeah. How was your last few weekends? I haven't been able to talk to you in a while.
That's good. I said, celebrated my birthday last weekend, right? I don't know. Time's a blur.
Yeah, it was last weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
last weekend. It was good. A lot of driving. Got up early on Saturday morning. Drove into the old Lou. Hung out with the family, and then drove back the next day. So, but yeah, it was fun. Got a couple gifts. Apparently, it was the year of the Batman for me. Not planned, but both my girlfriend and my mother got me Batman statues. Don't know how they worked that one out, but so that was pretty pretty cool. What else did I get? Oh yeah, I got a art book for Ghost of Tsushima. You know me, and I love my art books.
Ooh.
So next time you're down, it's a really cool one, man. Next time you're down, I'll show you that.
Oh, I bet.
I finally got the Compendium Volume 1 for Invincible. I want to collect all the Compendium volumes for that. Um, Also because I'm getting sick
You have
and
to let me know how that is.
well, I'm getting sick and tired of waiting for Amazon to come out with the next season, so I'm just gonna read about it instead. Um, shit. Th- okay, does this ever happen to you when you're trying to remember something and you just forget everything?
Dude, that happens way too much, in my opinion.
Oh, I got this little model ship of the Normandy for Mass Effect, so that was cool.
Ooh,
It was a lot
that's
smaller.
badass.
It was a lot smaller than I was anticipating, but that's fine, I guess. What else? I don't know. That's it, I guess. Yeah, F it. That's it. That's what we got. So, but other than that, so just getting kind of my mind ready for well, starting Friday. Friday starts the big gaming stuff. I mean, you'll be playing Call of Duty in 5 days, eh?
Yeah, no, I'm very excited.
Yeah, so getting excited. I will be playing. I've made my decision. I will be playing New Tales from the Borderlands. I am not playing in 30 frames a second. Fuck, absolutely not.
Yeah, I know, dude.
I'm not
That
doing it.
frustrates me so much.
It's I'll wait till maybe a patch comes out. I don't know, but if a patch,
Dude, yeah, I in the joke too. I don't know if you read the line of why they're doing it. They said it's. By the way, this isn't going to be a story of ours, so I'm just going to do it real quick. But basically, with the new Gotham Knights, they have stated that the game is too demanding with their four-player co-op open world that they can't make the game run at 60 frames per second. But they sure did get it locked to 4K 30, and they said it's not as simple as just dropping the resolution to bring the frame rate up. Just saying, I'm pretty sure these new next gen consoles have better CPUs, so they're not CPU bound, and there's no way this game is that heavily CPU bound to the point where they can't run the game at 60 frames per second. So, just saying, I think they're just lazy and they're making you pay $70 for this game. You could definitely make it run at 60, and I think they'll get enough hit just like how Dying Light 2 did, where they'll maybe update and bring a new thing into there. But like, we shouldn't have to do this. Like, it's next gen. They've seen all these other games come out at 60 frames per second. Whether it be them dropping it to 1080p, people still be happy with that. Just like find a way to make it run, 60 frames per second. I think if they made a dynamic 1440p, maybe change some of the settings, they could probably make that bad boy run at 60. I guarantee it. But
yeah,
whatever.
I kind of agree and disagree with some of the things. By the way, it's two-player co-op. They will have a four-player co-op mode, but it's not at
Oh yeah,
launch.
yeah, I forgot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can understand. I can kind of wrap my head around that. Like um, yeah, I guess if there's a second player, then maybe because that puts an extra strain on the engine. But also at the same time, in the same breath, I was like, okay, we'll make it run at 60 if I'm playing by myself, and then when I do play co-op, if for some reason the game can't handle it, fine, I guess I understand that one. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I understand what they're trying to say there. But then they went on to say, oh, the world is too heavily detailed, and I'm like, bitch, I played Horizon. Your world is not more
Yeah.
detailed and more dense than Horizon Forbidden West. It's just not, I if it is, good on you, but I don't think it is. I don't think there's more things going on in Gotham Knights than there were in Horizon Zero Dawn, just from a technical standpoint. So
Also, just saying, this game doesn't even look as good as Arkham Knight, and yet they're like acting like it's the most detailed thing ever. Like,
yeah.
just saying, like they could do it. I just don't think they want to do it, and it's really annoying because you're making these people pay $70 for your game. Like, I don't know, just put it in. I'm sure you could literally add it. I'm sure someone will figure it out day one how to do it, and you're just gonna be like, no, it's too detailed. No, there's two people. Bullshit.
One
That's
thing
all
I'll
I
be
gotta
interested.
say.
This game's coming to PC, right? Or am I wrong on
Yeah.
that? I'll
No,
be
it is.
interested. I'll be interested to see what people can do on PC with it.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, unless they come out and say it's a locked frame rate on PC too, and people would lose their shit if that's the way it is. I don't know. But yeah, it's official. I'm playing new Tales from the Borderlands on Friday. Um, I'm not gonna deal with playing a stop motion picture.
Yeah, I can't do it anymore.
I can't. I've been
It's too
spoiled, man.
difficult.
I've been spoiled. All right. Let's get into the show proper. As always, we begin with the question of the week. This one, Mr. Birdman presented to me, so I'll let you introduce it, sir.
All right. Question of the week, and I've been thinking about this actually the past 3 weeks. I don't know why, but it just popped up in my head and it was a good one. What game do you wish you okay, maybe I wrote this out a little wrong. So bear with me. So what game do you wish you could have played when it was released? This could either be a multiplayer game or a single player game. And in the vein of a single player game, I know no matter what, at any time you can play a single player game, but I more am saying like, at the hype, the peak, when everybody was talking about it, maybe you wanted to be a part of the conversation and everything. That's why I put single player in there. Most likely it'll probably be multiplayer, and I already have my, answer for this, but I don't know if you have one you want to go first, or do you just want me to go
You
first?
can go first. It's your question, but I do have my answer.
Okay. One game I really kind of wish I got to play way back that I remember had a super huge community, very exciting, and it was just a really cool game. I really wish I got to play Team Fortress 2 when it was released. That was one game I always wish I got to play, like, at the time at its peak. I know technically, yes, TF2 is still going right now, but, like, it's been so long, and the people that are playing it probably have been playing it since the beginning, and it's probably not as fun anymore. But to play it probably when it came out, when everybody was, like, new to the game and everything was brand new, that would have been so exciting to play that game. I don't know, Team Fortress 2 is always one of those games I've always wanted to play, but I just know for a fact if I played it now, it probably wouldn't be fun because people play this game all the time. So it's kind of not as enjoyable. And I had another one, but I kind of forgot what it was. I had an idea of what it was. I guess probably another one was Battlefield Bad Company 2. I never got to so I played Battlefield Bad Company 1, really enjoyed it, and then for some reason I never played Battlefield Bad Company 2, which I heard was the better one by a lot. Um, I kinda wish I got to play that game too when it was out, and even play the Vietnam DLC whenever it came out. That would've been super cool. I remember how exciting that game was and how many people really love it, and I never got to play it, so that kinda What about you, Mike?
So I, excuse me, my apologies. Mine is probably going to be a little bit of a surprise. So you're probably going to say you probably, okay, well, this is going well. You probably think I'm going to say some single player game, whatever, but no, it is a very heavily played multiplayer game, and it's mostly the reason I wish I would have played this when it came out is because nowadays I find myself more and more enjoying some aspects like this. And so anyway, the game I wish I could have played when it was released and kept playing is Destiny 2 or Destiny 1, whichever one you want to say. Um,
Really?
it's the older I get and the more I kind of play some of these games. For example, the game I'm playing right now, obviously Marvel's Avengers was the big one that got me into it. Granted, Destiny 2 is a much better game than Marvel's Avengers, but I find myself actually kind of enjoying the whole monotony of getting on every single day or every couple days, playing some new content, getting some new gear, trying to just keep mid-maxing your characters and other things like that. And everything that I've seen from Destiny 2, from its story DLCs and some of its raids and the community around the community around that game, I'm kind of jealous that I'm not a part of it. I'm kind of I kind of wish every 6 months or so I get to play the new DLC, experience the story that they're telling, because Bungie is, we know from their Halo times, they're pretty darn good at telling a good story and a good narrative with characters and deep lore. The lore in Destiny is mind-boggling. I tried to look up some stuff. I tried to get into it, but dude, I can't. It's too much. Like, go onto the wiki, man. You go onto the Destiny wiki, it is books of lore that you got to dig through if you want to get into it. So,
Yeah, even just jumping into the game and playing in general right now, dude, it's insane from what I've heard.
yeah,
Like,
it's
there's so many things. It's like it doesn't give you a direction. It's just so much stuff is splayed out in front of you, and they're like, "Go." That's all they do. Just go
yeah,
and
and it's one of those
figure it
things
out.
that back in 2014, when did this come out? 2014, 2015, whenever the beta for the first Destiny came out, I remember me and my buddies, we sat down that whole weekend. I invited them all over. I gave them all the keys because I actually got a key to play Destiny. And we played it, and I was like, oh, you just keep redoing the missions over and over again, which is true. It's still true to this day, but I wish I could have been where I'm at now opposed to where I was at then, in the fact that I actually like some of that stuff now. I played Avengers for 300 hours. Now, granted, that does have a lot of characters that I wanted to get max level and work on each character. With Destiny, you guys have one character that you're working on. There are other ones out there you can max out, but I don't know. I just found myself like maybe I could have been a part of a pretty cool gaming community and been along for that ride if I would have given it its chance when it came out, or given it its dues when it came out. I don't know. That's something that I'm kind of like, oh, I wish. And like I tried to get into it, I told you a little bit ago, and I can't. It's too much. You can't play the original story anymore, which I understand why you can't do that. The game would be 400 gigabytes on my hard drive, not my hard drive, my drive.
Oh
But
my god, yeah.
so I understand why they took some of that content away for the newer content, but I can't. I would need someone to guide me through everything, and I'm too damn busy for all that. All right. Did you remember your second one or no?
Alright, I'm just gonna stick with that Battlefield Bad Company 2 being my second one. I can't think of any other one off the top of my head at the moment.
Yeah, I couldn't really think of any single player games that I
Oh,
I
I
missed.
do
Oh,
have one.
okay.
Sorry.
No, good. You good?
Oh, okay. I was gonna say Skyrim. I really wish I got to play Skyrim when it first came out. When everybody was new to the game. I remember in high school everyone talking about it all the time, talking about stuff they did in it. And at that time I was more into shooters and stuff. I mean, I'm still a big shooter fan, but like I've grown and played a lot more games the older I've gotten. But literally, I was basically a strict like Call of Duty, Battlefield, whatever fan at that time, and I never got to play Skyrim. And I remember my dad playing it and saying it was bad and everything, so I never ended up trying it out. But now the more and more older I've gotten, I'm like, man, this game's really, really cool, and I kind of wish I had the chance to play it whenever it was new, it was fresh, and when everybody was talking about it. That's one thing I'm really happy I got to play Elden Ring with, because I feel like throughout the years, obviously Elden Ring has fallen off a little bit now to the point where not a lot of people really talk about it that much anymore. But I'm really happy I did get to play it when it was as hyped as it was. Um, and it was great to hear people talking about their stories and stuff and all that. I just thought that was cool. So that's how I feel about Skyrim. I wish I got to be there at that moment when everybody was super hyped and actually as hyped as they were playing that game.
Oh my god, dude, I was right there in the thick of it. I still remember that first day playing it. I remember I was oh my god, I'm about to age myself a lot, but I was a sophomore in college when that came out. Um, which is crazy to think about nowadays. But yeah, I got the game, um, brought it home, started playing it. My roommate went to bed. Then he woke up for class. I was still playing it, and he's like, have you gone to bed?" And I was like, "Nope." Then
Nope.
he went to class, did all his classes for the day, went to lunch, studied a little bit at the library, came back. I was still playing it. And he's like, "Did you go to class?" I was like, "Nope."
Nope. Oh
I
my
played
god.
for like 16 hours that first day, dude. I couldn't put it down. Uh, which is the reason why I don't think I'll ever take it out of my top games of all time. It'll always be somewhere in the list. Its position may change and move with new things coming out, but I do believe that that game will always deserve a place somewhere on my top games of all time, whatever the number may be that we're doing. But that game had such a cultural impact on not just me, just everybody around it when it came out. And just it was cool. It honestly surprises me that you didn't play it when it came out, but I guess you were a little younger. Let's see, you were. If I was a sophomore in college, you were in eighth grade.
I thought it was like a freshman or that. I can't remember now.
Oh yeah, I guess because yeah, you are 5 years younger than me, so yeah,
Oh, wait,
you would have been a freshman.
2012, 4 years. What did it come out towards like December time of 2012,
No, it came out in
right?
2011. Remember 11, 11, 11.
Oh, 11. So then I was in 8th grade, I believe.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah. I
yeah.
think that's yeah.
I was in the first
Well,
semester of my sophomore year, and that was also coming off my first knee injury, so I wasn't really doing too much outside of just sitting in my room. So yeah, I just played it for endless amounts of time, man.
dude, yeah, I literally remember walking by like everybody down the hallways, like locker rooms and everything, and also like going into the library in general, and I'd be hearing people talking about all these cool stories that they were having and how like, they got the Daedric armor and all that. It was like the hype. They're like, "Oh my god, you got the Daedric armor," or whatever. Like it was just really cool hearing all those. And at that time, again, when I was really, really young, I was really dedicated to just playing shooters. Like I very rarely split off from shooters when I was really, really young. And then the more and more older I got, I'm like, man, I kind of want to try something new. And so I started to split off more and more and try more games. And yeah, I really wish I got to play Skyrim when it did come out. Cause yeah, like I just remember the hype about it and everyone talking about it. And it would have just been cool to be a part of the. I know that sounds bad. And obviously, no one should go buy a game just to be a part of a conversation or anything. But it's just more like it still would have been exciting to have those kind of talks people when playing the game. Because now, if you play it and you try to have those talks, people are like, "Oh, I did that like years ago." So it's not as exciting.
Okay, well that's just whoever you're talking to is being assholes. I will talk about. There's a guy at work who's playing through The Last of Us right now for the first time. That game came out in 2013. And I will talk to anybody about that game. I'll talk to anybody about games in general. Now, that's not true. The only people I don't talk to is when they come up to me. They're like, "Oh, you play games? I play games too. I play Madden and NBA." I'm like, "Okay, well,
Yeah.
we don't really have too much to talk about.
uh,
So I'll listen to you talk. I'll give you your time of the day, but we don't really have too much in common in terms of our gaming." Uh, Speaking of Skyrim, those of you out there that listened to last week, so maybe those of you who didn't listen last week, guess what? You can get Skyrim for $70 on the Nintendo Switch now. It's crazy.
woo!
All right. Ladies and gentlemen,
Heck
if
yeah.
you didn't know, this is, in fact, the XP Podcast, our weekly video game and pop culture news podcast, excuse me, where Logan and myself sit down with y'all and talk about all the news stories and happenings inside and out of the video game world. We post a new episode each and every week, so you can listen to it whenever you want. You can find us on most of the popular podcasting services, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. If you enjoy what we're doing here on the XP Podcast and the greater scale of the Experience Point, please support us on our Patreon, where you get to be a part of our weekly discussions and give us your opinions on everything we talk about and everything we don't. You'll also be able to find all of our uploads there, along with any exclusive episodes we may post. Links for that, as always, are in the description down below, or you can simply go to patreon.com and search Experience Point, spelled capital X, capital P, ERIENCEPOINT. However, if you don't have any money to send our way, don't worry, we still love and appreciate you for listening to us and being a part of what is hopefully a growing community. You can also go over to our YouTube channel where you can get this show and all of our shows in video format. If you do, please don't forget to give us a like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification icon so you can be aware of everything we post when we decide to post it. New episodes remind us for you. Last week, we did not have a proper XP podcast episode, so I finally uploaded the review for Horizon Forbidden West. You can go check that out. You can go listen to what DJ and I have to think about that, and also Logan asking some questions that hopefully he has finally answered for himself, but we'll get into that fairly quickly. With all that out of the way, let's get into this week's show. In the news this week, we talk about CD Projekt Red announcing everything under the sun, EA officially revealing the next Need for Speed, Far Cry 6 getting a Game of the Year edition without winning a Game of the Year award, and so much more. But before we get to all that, it's time for What You've Been Doing, where we catch up on all things that we've been doing, pop culture related, whether that be gaming, TV shows, movies, books, or comics. It doesn't matter to us because we like it all and love to talk about it. So, Mr. Birdman, you've been away for a while, so what, sir, have you been doing?
All right. So to start off, as Mike is kind of spoiled, I have started playing Horizon Forbidden West. I think it was last week I started playing it. I won't say again I have gotten super far in the game. I mean, even off podcast with me and Mike talked. I haven't really gotten to the thick of it, in my opinion. I got through the intro, which was pretty cool. And by the way, I 100% agree. This game looks amazing. Like, I at first I like when watching on YouTube, it really doesn't give it justice because it kind of like looks kind of the same as Horizon Zero Dawn. But now that I'm actually playing it and experiencing it for myself, it looks like 10 times better, in my opinion. It looks really, really good. But I got into the intro. I don't really know if I've technically gotten to I mean, I haven't really gotten to the open world yet, but I don't really know how to describe it. I got to like a snowy part of the world, and then like I got up to like this little whatever it's called. I don't even know. All I know is I just got to the worker people clan. I don't
Chain
know the
Scrape.
name of them. Yes.
Chain Scrape, yeah.
So I just got to
So,
them.
yeah,
So I
that.
haven't really gotten into the game yet. Like I'm
So,
not even in the open world yet. So
yeah.
like I
So, you
that's where I'm
just.
at right now.
Did you just come down well, I guess let's just call it an elevator, the elevator, or did you explore down in that area a little bit, like that first intro area? Because that really is like
I
an
explored a little bit.
okay, because
So
that really is like an intro kind of mini world area, and then once you get through the embassy mission or quest, whatever, then it releases you into the grander open world as a whole.
yeah, I played a little bit of that. But I haven't really gotten I that's actually around the time I started to slow down and stop playing it, because I had some other things which I'll be talking about. But I did get to that. I got to like the main, village thing, and then I was about to go do a side quest. Um, but other than that, I didn't. I stopped there, so that's where I'm at right now. I haven't really gotten into the game yet, in my opinion. So far, I mean, from the little bit I played, not actually being able to actually really experience the game yet. I feel like when you get to the open world, that's when you really truly get to experience the game. So I would say just from the little intro, I'm enjoying myself. I enjoyed myself more than I did with Final Fantasy VII Remake. So I'm gonna probably keep playing it. I like that game. Sorry, Mike. But I actually think this is pretty cool so far. I really like the visuals. I'm actually going to give the side missions more of a try in this game compared to the first game. I feel like, I mean, from what I've heard too, the side missions in this game are way better. So I'm really excited about that. But yeah, I mean, so far from when I played, it feels good. I like the little haptic feedback. It's like it's not super noticeable, but it still is kind of satisfying to shoot the bow and everything. So it's really cool, and I like all the cool little vibrations with everything that's going on. Like if there's like machinery going on, or if you're riding, the whatever horse thing, you can like really feel it when it's galloping. So I think that's pretty cool so far. So I'll let you know whenever I get actually into the open world and actually experience the game. In my opinion, I'll let you know what I feel at that moment. But right now, pretty good. I've been really enjoying myself, or I'll just say good, not pretty good. I think I'm really enjoying myself with that.
Yeah,
So
I would say you don't. Obviously, you're not going to play the game how I played it. I beat almost every single quest in the game. I will say there are still some of those, go here, grab this, come back quests. But to be fair, that's in every single open world game ever made. So, but the character quests, the ones that you actually deal with characters from the first game and the new characters in this one, those are all highly detailed quest lines that span multiple chapters of the game, and multiple different quests make up this one story in its totality, I guess I would say. So, but yeah, I'm excited to hear what you have to think about it. It is a long game. It's I mean, I guess you can probably rip through it in like 25 to 30 hours. I'd recommend anyone not doing that, but if you want to, I guess you can. Fair enough, I guess. But those of you who listened to the review, I absolutely loved it. So DJ absolutely loved it. But yeah, is that all you gotta say about Forbidden West?
Yeah, that's it
All right.
so far. I'll let you know. I'll keep you updated whenever you start getting back into it. But I will say there's gonna be a slight delay because of something else I'm gonna be talking about soon. So, yeah.
Well, I will say it's kind of a weird time for you to start it, considering we're about to get into the absolute clusterfuck that is the end of this year. So, but hey, hopefully,
Oh yeah, yeah. I probably honestly, yeah, that's true. I probably will not be able to really play much of it for a good while, but I will remind myself whenever I actually have free time again, to actually go and start playing that game again.
yeah.
So,
All right. Well, an update from last week. Those of you who listened to last week's episode, you knew that on a whim, started Tiny Tina's Wonderland, kind of coming off Call of Duty. I was kind of in an FPS mood. And then I also played Tales of the Borderlands again to get ready for the new game coming out. So I found myself in a mood for a combination of both those things, and there was the perfect game for me, Tiny Tina's Wonderland. So an update on that from last week. I have rolled credits on it. I'm 34 hours into the game. Um, done all but 8 side quests of the game. The game has 48 total side quests. I've done, well, 40 because that's how math works. But yes, I can say with absolute certainty that this game is a Borderlands game, and if you want anything else from it, you're not going to get it here. Me personally, I have enjoyed pretty much all 34 hours that I've played of it. Now, did it blow me away in any way? Did it, like, make my top games of the year this year? This game came out this year, right? Yeah, it came out earlier this year,
yeah, it
correct?
did. Yeah,
Yeah, so yeah, it's
yeah, it
it's
did.
it's not in my top 5 games of the year. I mean, but every time I was playing it, I didn't really want to stop playing it. I wanted to keep playing it. The loot grind's addicting. There's a lot of things to level up. There's a lot of skill points that you can mess around with. And once you get to the end of the game, you can switch your secondary class. So you can play with all the classes and experience everything that the game has to offer without having to replay it. Now, however, you can't switch your primary class, but you can switch your secondary class and just experience everything that the game has to offer. And like I said, it's a really good game. It is a solid 8 out of 10, good to great game. I really enjoyed my time with it. I'm going to keep playing it. I'm going to try to platinum it before Call of Duty comes out and before God of War comes out. There is a couple of really stupid grindy trophies, but I have a friend from work that's going to maybe help me boost it. Um, and yeah, I don't know. Do you have any questions? I know you're a big Borderlands guy. You and I both talk about Borderlands quite often. You have any questions for me? Have to things you're thinking about the game? I mean, it really is just Borderlands with a different coat of paint. Now that coat of paint is really cool, and what they do with that coat of paint is, I think, what makes me like the game so much. But it really just is Borderlands.
I think my biggest question is it more enjoyable than Borderlands 3?
Yes, absolutely. Without a shadow of doubt. And this is coming from someone who I,
Okay,
I actually liked
because like,
Borderlands 3. You didn't. I actually liked Borderlands 3. But I think the new coat of paint gives it some freshness. The way the world's set up, the way it's designed, the way the side quest works, and some of the pop culture references, and this everything they put into the fantasy aspect or essence of this game is one of the reasons why I enjoyed it so much outside of just the general loot grind of why people play Borderlands. So
I will say that I don't not like. I do actually enjoy Borderlands 3 for the characters that they added, the side quests that they added, and the environments that they had. It's just the campaign was dog shit. I'm sorry, but it was bad. The characters were horrible. The villain was nowhere close to Handsome Jack, but I mean, it's kind of hard to beat Handsome Jack in my opinion. But I didn't hate Borderlands 3. I wanted it to be so good. I was beyond hype for that game. It's just the fact that they kind of made a horrible story and they just did some weird stuff with the characters in my opinion. So I didn't hate it. I just more the story sucked. I love the gameplay that they added and the coat of paint that they added to the game. It looks super crisp. I like the new addition to it. I feel sorry for the people on PC, by the way. I don't know if you know, but like PC people with these new Borderlands, dude, it's hot garbage. I don't know what they did to these games on PC, but uh, from what I could tell, they're bad, like really bad. The ports, so that's kind of annoying. But other than that, like I think I like Borderlands 3, but I'm happy to hear that this one is better. I think this one interested me more too because they're doing some really unique, cool stuff with the whole fantasy thing. Like, isn't there like random encounters and everything and all that? I think that's kind of cool.
There are
So
I didn't mess with those. You can press one button and get rid of the random encounters because like they show up on your map, and if you press melee, you just send them away. I never dealt with that at all because there's so much combat in the game. I didn't really want to get stuck doing more combat on my way across the map to a mission point where I was going to do combat. So I I
that's
think
fair.
yeah I think the random encounters are kind of pointless overall. So after like the first or second one, I think I only did one extra one, and it's because I missed my punch. I was facing the wrong way, so he interacted with me. And this game gives you enough XP as long as you're doing most of the side quests. The game gives you enough XP. You don't really have to grind for anything. And the enemies level
That's
with
fair.
yeah, the enemies level with you. So whatever level you're at is what the enemies are at. So you never you never need to grind for levels or anything like that, like some other RPGs. But yeah, overall, I said the aesthetic's really cool. The guns are all fun. They do give a more fantasy vibe. There's a lot of crossbows and other things like that mixed in with some of the more traditional Borderlands games, and there's all those crazy stats and everything that you have to look at. And like I said earlier, I find myself more and more liking some of that stuff, looking at stats and looking at my character upgrade screen and trying to come up with a build that I think is one powerful and also that I enjoy doing. And by the way, apparently I just naturally stumbled into the most powerful build in the game, so I guess that worked out for me really well.
Really?
Yeah, I just like because last night after I beat the game, there's a whole end game called Chaos Chamber runs, which is really just a combat run that you just do to keep getting stuff. It's not really like well implemented, but uh, and I was like, all right, let me make sure I have like a good character build and what uh what skills I need to make sure I have unlocked, because you can like reset everything after the game. So I was like, let me make sure I have. And I was looking through a guy who's doing it really good, and I was like, oh, I pretty much have everything. Cool, I did it. I'm good at this game. So yeah, so I'm a spell slinger, so I base myself off spells, and then my secondary class is the necromancer. And what's really nice is he has a companion that travels with you at all times, and his companion's ability is every time you cast a spell, he sends out a projectile of the same elemental type. And then I combo that with spells that hit 2 or 3 times while I'm casting them. So I hit 2 or 3 times with my spell, then he throws out a spell, and then everything also, since he's a necromancer, I infuse dark magic with any spell I cast, and my dark magic buff is like through the roof. And man, I'm just there are some encounters I don't fire a single bullet. I just throw out spells and just melt people. It's really fun. If anyone's out there that plays the game, play as a spell slinger. It is incredibly fun to just throw out poison spells or throw out an ice spell and then combo that with a fire spell and just like watch your enemies just explode. It's good. It's good fun. It's enjoyable. But yeah, so that's all I got on that. It's really good. It's fun. Says anyone going into the game, if you played Borderlands, you know what this is. You know what the gameplay is going to be like. But I do think the world design and the side quest design overall is really good, and it's a good fantasy game. It's a good, easy, digestible game. It's not going to blow you away. I will say though, to let you know, Logan, if you ever are going to play it, the story is not fantastic. It's not bad in any regard. It's just kind of this is a story to get you to the end of the game, to get you through the game.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's not like, it's not Borderlands 2. It doesn't have the villain to Borderlands 2. I think it makes way more sense than Borderlands 3 and has a much better connection with what's going on in the world. And there are some cool reveals at the end with the enemies and some cool stuff that they do with the whole idea of it being a tabletop game. Like, there's a bunch of times where something will happen and Tiny Tina just has to, like, make up something and the enemies just spawn randomly because she'll go, you've been, it's a trap, and then people just come out at you when you're walking through the world. So they do a lot of cool stuff with that, and it's really enjoyable. So like I said, for a 30, 40 hour experience, if you got nothing else to play, go on, buy this game. You'll have a good time. All right. That's all I got on that. What else do you got for us? Mr. Surprise Game and then Big Surprise Game.
Okay, so with my surprise, and this you probably wouldn't even remember this, but back I don't even remember what episode it was. Remember the Oculus showcase when we covered it? There was a certain game that you were pretty surprised that I was really hyped for. And it was called Bone Lab. And dude, by the way, this story is just crazy because the fact is they didn't announce like a release date for this game until a week out. So they announced it like I literally was just randomly scrolling through YouTube and I seen on Node seen that they had the Brandon, which is the one of the main developers for the game, come on to showcase the game, and then he just comes out and says, "Yeah, it's coming out next Thursday." What? Okay, okay, goddamn, like I wasn't prepared. Like I didn't know it was coming out, so it just kind of like I was really hyped. And so I got it day one. And dude, this VR game is amazing. Like I love it, and I especially love that they made this game specifically not specifically, but they designed it to work both on PC and Quest, and it wasn't just a port from the PC over to the Quest. And dude, this game runs super smooth on there, like 90 frames per second. It looks really good, and it is one of the funnest VR games I've ever played. Like now, I've heard some controversy about this game too. It's not a super long game; it's a 5-hour game, but there's a lot of content packed in, and it also encourages you to replay the game, which I've already almost beat it twice now. But there's also a lot of side stuff in the game and a lot of stuff to collect in the game. There's a lot of like these what I would call pokeballs. They look like pokeballs, and you grab them and you pull them apart. I'm trying to think of what they remind me of. They remind me of like a toy that used to be a long time ago, but basically these like they're like these plastic things. You pull them apart, and they give you these items so you can spawn in later in the game, like into the sandbox mode and all that. This game reminds me a lot of like a good mix of like Half-Life and Gmod and stuff like that. And dude, this game, I've been so addicted to it. I mean, literally for a week straight, that's all I did. I got home, I got on my VR headset, and I just started playing this game. And it was so much fun. I still love that game. I still want to keep going back and playing it. And dude, there's an insane mod community, dude, that's been blowing up for this game because they encourage mods. They even have a whole section for mods. And the whole point of the game too is like so basically the story is like it's kind of like how like Elden Ring and some other games kind of are. It's very scripted or not. It's very cryptid, I guess. So like they
What's
give
it
you
called
these little
again?
like note board. I know. I said
No,
I'm
I
gonna say
said,
cryptid.
what's it called? I'm trying to look it
Oh,
up.
Bone Lab.
Bone Lab. All
Bone
right,
Lab.
cool. Sorry.
It's a sequel to Bone Works, which is a very popular like one of the, it came out around the time of Half-Life Alyx. I think it came out like a week before Half-Life Alyx or something like that. Um, and dude, that game everyone was blown away by because again, the physics, the way that it works, it's a very intense VR game, by the way. They throw you around like nothing. There's no safety nets. There's no use the analog stick to teleport here. No, it's straight up everything is as it is. So if you obviously you can't handle it, it's going to be tough, which is a struggle. But yeah, it's one of those games. It's like it's not catering. It's not going to make it easy on you. Like if you can't handle it, it's probably not going to be a game for you. It's very very intense. Even on the Oculus thing, it is literally the highest tier of comfortability where it's literally in the intense. It's very uncomfortable in some ways, but I played it all the way through and I didn't get motion sick until recently, which when that's what I said when I got on when we were talking on PlayStation, I was playing it. For some reason I got really motion sick for no reason. I barely did anything in the game and I just started to get motion sick. I think I just wasn't feeling good in general. But dude, this game is awesome. If you ever get a chance to play, it's $40 on Oculus Quest. and also on Steam and all that. It's awesome. It's a really good game. I don't want to ruin it. I will say though, the story is very cryptid. I would say because it's not very out there. It's not explaining itself. You have to really read the notepads and listen to the dialogue that does happen on the occasion. You can miss the story if you just go through very quickly. Um, there is also some very for some people it's annoying, but I kind of enjoyed it. I like figuring it out, but a lot of people are complaining that the fact that it didn't handhold you to figure out certain of the puzzles because in the beginning of the game you get through the intro and they throw you into the Bone Lab, which is basically the hub, which is with all the different game modes and stuff. And people think when you get there, that's just the end of the game. No, there's this puzzle you have to do. It even says right when you walk out of the elevator, it says on the board, try out these games. And then from there, you're going to figure out that you need to move these orbs into this thing. And then you open this door, and then the campaign continues. And but yeah, I mean, this game's great. I really love it. I mean, you want to talk about a VR game, really just is the peak of VR in my opinion. That is where it's at. Again, I've heard people say Boneworks is better in this game, so I'm not gonna quote myself on. I've never played Boneworks, probably never will be able to because I have to have a PC to play Boneworks. So, but I will say, just from playing Bone Lab by itself, I love the game. I think it was well worth the money I spent on it, and I think everybody's worth is their own. So if you didn't like it, you can clearly get a refund for it. I'm happy for you, but I will say, just in my opinion, I love the game. It's really, really fun. I find a lot of the stuff they're doing in this game is insanely unique and very cool. I love the new avatar system where literally any like so you can port in avatars in the game and depending on like what their mass is, like their arms, their legs, how small, how tall and everything, it literally does stats off of how their body is shaped. So like if you're a super huge guy, like you can literally become Iron Giant in this game. The people ported over Iron Giant and it makes you super huge and it's super cool too because like they did some kind of magic to where like if you touch your hands together in the game, you are literally touching hand, no matter how big of your body is or anything. Like I'm literally the Iron Giant, and I can literally like touch my arms together, and it's just like real life because I can actually touch my real hands exactly in the same place as where the model is done. And dude, it is just so cool. Like you could be Iron Giant and be insanely strong, and literally just grab people and throw them across the world. It is so freaking cool. Like again, ever get a chance to play this game, just know it's very intense. It's a very good game. I loved it a lot. It's the best quest game I played to this date. I love this game. Like it is truly the best VR game I've ever played. Now again, I can attest to Boneworks. I heard Boneworks is a longer, a little bit more deep game. But I've heard on one side that this game supposedly is worse than that one, but I've also heard on the other side that the game makes a lot of better updates to that one. I'm just gonna go with what I played, and I gotta say this game's awesome. Like I loved it, every minute of it. I constantly think about this game. It's so freaking good, dude. It is. If maybe whenever we hang out next, Mike, I'll have you try it. It is so freaking good. I love this game. But that I'll cut that short there. If you have anything to say,
No, I was doing some reading while you were talking, and I don't think it's a game for me.
that's fair.
Most people are complaining that it throws all sorts of standardized VR comfortability out the window. So
Yeah,
I don't
that's
really
yeah.
think I want to go through that because I got motion sickness playing Iron Man VR on PlayStation VR. So I don't know if that's for me, sir. But I appreciate and I am very happy
That
that
is
you
fair.
found something special to you. All right. Going into my movie, I've only played one game, so I saw a couple movies this week. Went to the theaters on Friday to see a new horror movie that both Peyton and I were very excited to see. And before I get into my short summary slash reaction of the movie, can I just say to all you younger people out there, shut the fuck up in movie theaters. Stop talking. It's not a social club. You paid to watch a movie. Other people paid to watch a movie. Shut the F up and let me watch the movie. Dude, the experience that Peyton and I had at this movie theater on Friday night was absolutely horrendous. It was not a good theater experience. I don't really feel like it took away from the movie too much because I'm pretty good at zoning that stuff out. But man, there were times that I could like hear the movie next to me playing because the soundproofing sucks so bad. And then there was a group of children behind us in this R-rated NC-17 movie that just were at a bar just chit-chatting, talking about how the mom was yelling at them, how yeah, this boy's trying to hit on them, and how, oh, that's crazy. Shut the fuck up. All right, that's all I got to say about that. I was very angry. So, but anyway, the movie Smile. Those of you who didn't know, it's a pretty hyped horror movie. We've talked about some of the viral marketing campaigns that they've been doing outside of the movie, and how DJ and I think Logan, you were on for that one. We think it's absolutely brilliant marketing campaign that they've employed. I can say with relative confidence, the marketing campaign is twice as good as the movie.
Really? Okay.
I overall was pretty let down with this movie, and that sucks to say. I don't like that. I was very excited to see it. Peyton was very hyped to see it. Uh, but for most of this movie's runtime, it is a very average to barely above average horror movie. I was sitting there thinking, I was like, all right, it's like a 2.5. Every once in a while, it would do something interesting. I'm like, all right, well, maybe it's a 3, you know. But it relies pretty heavily on jump scares. It does try to create a really creepy environment, but at the end of the day, it's only like method to employ true like horror, I guess, in a way, but not really. It's just a jump scare you. It's to set something up, have a quiet scene, and have something jump out and be really loud. So I thought it was a very average to sometimes above average movie throughout most of its runtime. And then the ending happened. And this ending is so bad. If the movie was at a 3, I'm at a 2. This ending
Dang.
was absolutely horrendously terrible. One of the worst horror movie endings I've ever seen. And that's a genre that typically doesn't have that great of endings throughout the majority of
That's insane.
the horror movies. Like I hated it. It happened and I was like, I thought of 3 different better versions of that while the scene was playing out. And that's the one you chose to go with? It's absolutely horrendous, dude. It's a fucking terrible ending. And it really honestly ruined the whole movie for me because I don't ever want to go back and watch it again in a more like peaceful setting that I'm not distracted by all these kids. And I was like, well, I know that all this leads to that. I don't want to say what happens or anything like that. Maybe you guys will have a different experience out there. Let me know if you do. Let me know if you saw it in a much quieter, more respectful theater than I did, and you were able to glean something better out of it. But even with that, I didn't miss anything. Like I was able to focus in and really pay attention to the character work and the story that was being told, and so I didn't really miss anything. I don't feel like I missed out on anything like that. I was very let down. I will say the acting's really good though, especially from the main actress. She did a phenomenal job. Saving grace of the movie is her acting performance in this movie. She really makes you believe that she is slowly going insane, and she really sells it very well. And then every once in a while, there's some interesting cinematography being used. But I kept looking for like really interesting cinematography to where they would like use the half circle, so like the smile, in like different scenes, and it was only really there like once or twice. And I thought they really missed out on having a very deep cinematography based subplot, sub story in the movie. Maybe I expected a lot from this movie. Maybe I expected too much. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. But I was very, very let down, and I could not believe the ending of that movie. No, what else you got for me?
All I gotta say, dude, is it's good to hear actual good opinion because, like, dude, literally on TikTok, dude, people are blowing this up, acting like it's the scariest shit since sliced bread. Like, people are saying, like, "Oh my god, this is the scariest movie of all time, guys. You have to just don't see it, don't see it. It's so scary." It's like, really? Like, is it really that scary?
I
Like,
will tell you that.
and I honestly think it's marketing. I almost want to believe. I don't know if you heard, but have you ever heard of the whole gas station scandal? What was it called? It was what was that one gas station called? Damn it,
But
Dickies. or whatever. Or I don't remember what it was. It was a weird name, the gas station. There was a whole thing that blew up on TikTok of this dude that like made this cardboard cutout thing of him where he put himself in there and everyone thought it was like on his own, like he did that on his own, but in reality, that gas station actually paid him to do that. And he lied to a bunch of people, making it seem like it was his own idea. And it was a big joke and it blew up out of proportion. He got a meal there, and a bunch of people went to this gas station getting photos near it. And it became a whole big viral thing. And then I think like a month later, people figured out that he was just paid to do that. And it was just one big marketing ploy the entire time. Uh, and I think that's what's going on right now on TikTok. I think a lot of people are low key just getting paid from this place, and they're just coming out and being like, "It's the scariest thing I've ever seen. Oh my god, it's the scariest movie I've ever seen." And then now people are like, "Oh well, we have to go see it now because clearly it's the most scary movie of all time." Yeah.
No, I will say. Now, granted, I am pretty difficult to scare in a theater. It's pretty hard to get me to genuinely be creeped out. And some of the best ones that have done it are some of my favorite scary movies of all time. Get Out had that one super scary scene that I talked about last week. The Conjuring is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. It Follows, I think, is one of the most inventive and unique movies, not just horror movies, ever made. And there's quite a few out there that actually like legitimately give me a sense of creepiness. I will say in this movie, even with all the jump scares and loud noises, I never once jumped. I saw it all coming a mile away. And like, it sucks because like you have at its core concept a very creepy concept of people just smiling uncontrollably while staring deathly at you. And at its core, that's an incredibly uncomfortable and frightening concept. And I never once felt uncomfortable in my seat. I don't know. I'm. It's for me. I'm kind of confused why why this movie was such a disappointment to me. And I'm saying like it was a very average movie throughout most of its runtime. The ending is really terrible. But if I was to take that ending away, it would still be a very average horror movie for me. Like let's see, its tomato score is a 78. I think that's a little too high. I would put it more in the 60s range for me. But it's at least good to know that people aren't reviewing it as like in the 90s or something like that. Like it's the next God's gift to Earth. But like Hereditary, everyone gave Hereditary everything, and I watched that movie. I'm like, I don't think I've ever been more bored during a movie. I don't know. I'm at the point in time that I need something special out of horror movies. Jump scares just don't do it for me. I'm bored by them, and they don't do anything for me. Like if I go into a horror movie and I'm not scared, in my mind that's a bad horror movie then. Like it's just I don't know. Maybe I'm entirely different than most people, but all right. Sorry for the disappointment. I said, go see it, Logan. Go take Amy. No, well, definitely don't go take Amy to see it. Watch it by
No,
yourself.
I'm not. I don't go to see horror movies in theaters, so I'll probably just wait till it comes out in some way or form, and I go see it at like a friend's or something like that. Because I don't really care. I don't really like these kind of movies. I don't ever see horror movies in theater. It's mostly one of those things I go to see at a friend's house. So but it's good to hear that it's not all just sunshine and rainbows because everyone keeps acting like it's the scariest movie ever. I mean, I guess it's not a good thing, but also it's just like I feel like people are really overhyping this movie, and I know the marketing is insanely good, which I did listen to the podcast you did the other day and you talking about it. I agree that the marketing is amazing for this movie. They really nailed it. Um, but it's yeah, like I kind of felt like people were a bit overhyping it just a little bit. Like people were like watching videos of oh before I go to watch Smile, then after that, and people were crying and they're like oh don't see this movie, it's so scary. And I'm like, is it really that scary? Like it even made me think. I'm like, is it really that scary of a movie? But to hear that you were just like, yeah, it's whatever. But you also say you don't get scared that easily, so
I don't get
that's
scared that
fair.
easily, especially not in movies because I've watched so many horror movies. Like I could see it coming. But they said there are those special instances where I do have this sense of being creeped out in the movie. Like I really don't jump too much at movies, but like there are some special ones that really put me in this sense of uneasiness and like keeps me on the edge of my seats. And those are the movies that I really love, and those are the movies I really appreciate. This one Said never really felt uncomfortable. I was pissed in the theater because the freaking children behind me, but yeah, never really felt uneasy or anything in this movie, which is sad because, like I said, and its core concept is a very, very creepy ass concept to make a movie about. But all right, go ahead and give you your last game. Then we're gonna move on. We're running a little long here. What's up?
So it's not a game. I have officially gotten the Steam Deck
Oh hell yeah!
as of today.
That's fucking
Dude,
hype.
so uh yeah, dude, I ordered one this week. It actually got here very quickly because by the way, I don't know if you don't know this, but they actually came out of the reserve phase, and now they have caught up with the purchases to the point where now when you buy one, you'll be getting it. And heck, I got it in 4 days, so it got here quick. And I'm even more impressed because it's FedEx, and FedEx usually never gets here on time. So I was kind of surprised that they got here yesterday. And it kind of sucked because I was trying to get it and play it a little bit before I had to go to the wedding yesterday, but it didn't get here till after the fact. So I literally just started playing it today. Really, I got home, tried to play a little bit of it, but I was really really tired. So I'm like, this sucks. So I was like, I'll wake up, and then it's good because this is my first ever time being able to play a little bit. I've been kind of playing with it the entire time we've been talking. Um, it's freaking awesome, man. I can't really do much right now because I haven't gotten to really play much, but the little bit I did play, I played Left 4 Dead 2 because I own that game, and I actually have my Steam account from like a long time ago. I still have some games I did buy. Like I have like the entire Valve collection I bought a long time ago for like $25. So I have Portal 1, 2, all the Half-Life, all the Left 4 Deads, all the Team Fortresses, and also I download their kind of like what is it called? Kind of Astrobot game that they came with it, which is called Aperture Desk Job, which is like their kind of little intro game. So I'll have to try that out after the podcast. Um, but dude, this thing feels great in the hands. It is big, of course, but for me, that's not a big deal. I have big hands. So it's really not that big of a deal, and that's why it's a big surprise. But it's good, dude. Like I'm really excited to play it. I've been watching a lot of videos on it, trying to watch games that I really want to play on it. I'm hoping to get like Fallout and stuff like that because I've always wanted to play Fallout games on the go. So it'd be super cool to play Fallout New Vegas, and I probably will beat the whole entire game on the Steam Deck. So that's probably what I'll be doing. But yeah, dude, this thing's super cool. I'm really excited to have this. I can't wait to play some PC games finally and actually just kind of have the feeling of playing PC games. Um, and dude, they've done a lot of updating to this device throughout, like, well, I don't know how long it's been out. It has it been out for a year, or has it been out for less than a year now?
Oh, I think it's
All I
hit.
know is it's made a lot.
I think it's
The
hitting its year. Which one did you get? Did you get the top of the line or did you get one of the mid tier ones?
top of the line.
There you go.
Hell yeah, yeah, dude. Yeah, it's cool, dude. The screen looks good. I wanted to get that because I'd rather not have the reflections on the screen when I'm looking at it. I like that it's, and I also heard the colors are better in the best version, so that's another good reason to get that. But yeah, no, dude, I'm really, really pumped to do this and play this, and actually be able to play some games. Like, there's some games I've always wanted to play, and Amy's wanted to play. I'm probably gonna get Phasmophobia on here because I know she's been really wanting to play that game. Um, but yeah, if you ever want to play some PC games too together, by the way, Mike, just let me know because how I can. And
Yeah, there you go.
there's a lot of games. This thing can actually run a lot more than people can think. You think. And they've done a lot of good updates. I mean, this thing can even run the most recent games, and that's mind blowing. So I am very excited to get it. I'll keep you updated and all that. But I'll probably be playing this all day today. I'm very excited to
Yeah,
get into
it's
it.
kind of
I
funny.
also will probably download Discord on here because I can actually do Discord too on here.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I saw because there's a lot of PC games that come out with like the Steam Deck preset that you can set it to, and like it's funny seeing the Steam Deck preset on like a 65-inch TV that I'm watching. I was like, oh, this looks terrible, but it's also a 65-inch TV versus a like 10-inch TV on the Steam Deck, so seven
And dude, you
actually,
should look
seven
up. There's a
inch.
video out there of this dude testing a bunch of games, running it at 4K on a TV, and you'll be pretty surprised of what it could do. Like there's quite a bit of games that can literally straight up run 4K if you put it on your TV. That's insane. Like I'm just mind blown by that. I'm like, this little device can run 4K games literally on the TV. There, obviously it's not the most recent games, but there's a good amount of games that actually surprisingly run at 4K. Um, so yeah, I'm really excited. I'm also excited to hopefully get a dock because I really love to play some of these games also on my TV. I'll finally be able to play Half-Life games. I've always wanted to play and beat Half-Life, so I probably will be beating all the Half-Life games soon, hopefully, because I've never gotten to play Half-Life games and I've always wanted to. So this is gonna be my first time ever being able to actually play and beat all the Half-Life games. And dude, just also playing Left 4 Dead 2 on this with max settings, dude, like it looks so good. I know it's a very old game, so it's not that surprising, but for me, this is mind blowing because I'm very excited about this.
Yeah,
Dude, I'm gonna even get Battlefield 2 Classic on here, dude. Fucking max settings, 100 players, all the frames, dude. Dude, whenever I get a dock, dude, I'm gonna be playing this 4K on my TV, guaranteed playing some Battlefield 2 Classic, dude. I'm so hyped for that. I cannot wait.
yeah. I thought about getting one, but it's like, nah, I got a PC. I don't need one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you. If you have a PC, there's the only reason I could see this being worth it is if you want to play the games on the go. If you do not want to play games on the go, then there's really no point to get a Steam Deck, in my opinion. But for
Yeah.
me, I don't own a PC. This is my PC now, and this thing runs super well, runs a lot of games, even the most recent games. Heck, if I want to get Elden Ring on here, I could play it on here, and it runs good. I mean, it's not 60 frames per second, but it's 30. And dude, I especially do with all the things they added, like you could change the refresh rate of your screen and everything, and actually cap frame rates and all that. There's a lot of new stuff they added. They even added like FSR built in and all that, and it's so freaking good. I'm just mind blown. Like, I don't know. I'm excited to actually start playing this. So yeah, I'll keep you updated. I'm gonna cut this short. I know I've been ranting a little too long. I've just been
No,
really
that's fine.
excited for this,
Fine with
and I
me.
was
I
also
don't
really
care.
excited to tell you. I've been trying to hold it in. I was gonna send you a message of me ordering it, but I'm like, no, I'm gonna wait till the podcast to talk about it. And I was even more excited that I actually got it like yesterday. I thought I wasn't gonna get it till next week. So, yeah.
All right. Well, I'm very happy for you. Yeah, I'll be excited to either come up or go you come down, whatever happens, so I can get my first hands-on experience with it. But so all right, anything else, sir?
No, but I guess another little thing is that you remember that one I said I couldn't play now? Probably could play it. So very
Uh
happy about that.
yeah, unfortunately there's a whole bunch of like problems with that game with the micro transactions. Apparently it's a pretty big pay to win game right now, so I haven't even played that. So
Oh,
yeah.
well, never mind.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Never mind on
yeah.
that.
And it's in early access that you have to pay $30 for, so
Oh, that's great.
so yeah, I
Sounds good.
I haven't even played that game. I was very excited about, but all right, let's you ready to get into the show proper?
Yes. Sorry for everyone. I got a
No, no,
little
you're good,
too
man.
fanboy, but
It's all good, brother.
yeah, I'm excited to get in.
Oh, I just heard you zip up something.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was what you've been doing. With Logan and I go through everything that we've been doing throughout the week. This one was 2 weeks long with the stuff. Let us know down below what you guys have been doing. Have you played Horizon Forbidden West? Let us know what you think. Have you played Wonderlands? Let us know what you think. Did you think Smile was the scariest movie of all time? And maybe I'm just wrong. Please let us know down below. We'll be happy to talk about it with you. We're going to go now to Around the Point, where we here at the Experience Point go around the video game world and give you the news that you need to know. Number one on Around the Point is not a news story, but it is our trailer reaction and review. Well, not a review, just a reaction to the trailer for the Super Mario's Brother movie that just came out. Logan and I kind of talked about it a little bit off stream, so it won't be too long here, but I just want to dive right into it. What did you overall think, Logan, about the new Super Mario Brothers trailer with Chris Pratt?
Um, I think everything is good other than Mario. I really think everything. We kind of talked about this off podcast, as he said, but I really think everything looks like the visuals look insanely good. I think everyone else is a good voice actor for all their characters. Like I'm still surprised that was Jack Black that was doing Bowser. Um, I think that he sounded really good. I love that scene. I thought it was funny. And I think Toad's a good. They have a good voice actor for Toad, which I think is Michael Keegan, correct? Or was that? Yeah, I thought that was Michael Keegan. I can't remember now. Um, but everyone's good. It's just as soon as Mario comes on screen and you hear Chris Pratt's voice, um, I just I'm just baffled. Like I knew what he was gonna sound like ever since they first said it, and then when he actually talks, I'm like, yeah, this is as bad as it was gonna be. You know, I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm just more like, why didn't they just use the actual voice actor for Mario? Or maybe even better, just find someone that sounds like Mario. Because Chris Pratt doesn't. He's literally like, "Oh, it's Mario." Like, I mean, there's a lot of memes coming up right now about like there's like a voice actor that comes on to try to get the role, and he sounds exactly like Mario. And he's like, "Oh, we'll see," And then Chris Pratt comes on, "Hey, it's me, a Mario," and then the dude claps. He's like, "Yeah, you got the role. You're definitely perfect for Mario." That's exactly what this is. This is bad. Like, I like Chris Pratt, but he should not be Mario. That's just the end of the story. I think that is the one thing that's going to hurt this movie, in my opinion. Maybe not for everyone. Probably a lot of people don't care about this, but for me, for a Mario movie, they could pick anyone else other than Chris Pratt. I just don't think he's a good Mario. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I said we talked about it off stream. I'm in the same boat. I was watching the trailer. I was actually pleasantly surprised by most of what they had to show. Like you said, I thought the visuals were really good. Um, the humor was pretty good. It made me laugh, made me chuckle. The little penguin guys, when they threw the snowballs and they were like, "That's only a taste of our power." That made me chuckle. It was funny. It said it looked good. Then they had the little audio cue with Mario coming in and he lands down, and I was really into it. And the moment that this effort talked, I was like, wow, you couldn't even attempt to do anything different. You're just talking into a mic. You're literally doing what we're doing right here. Now,
Yeah.
but before anyone yells at me, I understand it's voice acting is a lot more than what we're doing. It's just talking. But what I'm trying to get at is he didn't do anything to distinguish his voice to the character. It's just Star Lord as Super Mario, not Super, as Mario. Sorry, and I don't. It's just I was. It took me out of the movie or the trailer. It overall just made me go like, do I really want to watch an hour and 45 minutes of Chris Pratt talking as Mario? Not really, no. And that's sad because I like you said, like the rest of it looks surprisingly like it kind of blew me away how beautiful the movie looks, how beautiful the animation was. I was like, wow, this looks like a Nintendo game running on Xbox Series X and S and PS5. Like it was really interesting and cool. And then yeah, he talked and I was like, oh, all right, cool. Speaking of memes, have you seen the meme where Mario reacts to hearing Chris Pratt as Mario? It's the funniest shit you've ever seen. He's like sitting on a bed and it's like done in like those POV videos out there on TikTok and all that where like people react to something and like when Chris Pratt talks, Mario just goes, "Huh?" It's fucking funny as hell. And then he goes,
Dude, that's awesome.
uh, and then I think one of the lines is Chris Pratt says he was like, "Let's go," and the camera turns and Mario's like, "It's here we go," and he's like really mad at it. Oh, it's good. But yeah, overall, I was impressed by the movie as a movie. I was just baffled by the fact that the directors or Chris Pratt or any combination of people are like, hey, maybe try to distinguish yourself a little bit. Maybe try to do some sort of accent or something like that. Maybe, he is Italian. Maybe try to sound Italian. You are an actor. That's kind of your job. I mean, people forget that the last two Spider-Mans we've had, the last 10 years of Spider-Man have all been British. And guess what? They don't sound British because they're acting. I don't know. What are you doing?
Who, me?
Yeah, you're like moving around and it sounds like you're
Oh,
slapping your
sorry.
mic on your head.
No, I had to move something out of the way. Sorry.
You're fine.
Oh,
I don't really know. Said I'm conflicted as hell because it's like, yeah, the movie looks really interesting, but if it's just gonna be him talking, I don't really know if I want to see that. But I'm also lying. I'll probably go and see it. Like, I'm probably going to see it. So, and I guess we'll talk about it then. Whether it's good or bad, I don't know. Yeah. Anything else you got?
nope. But I guess hashtag not my Mario for Chris Pratt.
Is that
Because yeah.
is that a real thing? Is that trending?
No, I've
Oh,
just made that up because
okay.
that's what a lot of people make when they like say it's not my.
Yeah,
It might be a real hashtag.
it
I wouldn't
probably
be
is.
surprised.
It should be.
But
That'd be kind of funny.
I love Chris Pratt again, but
Oh
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
don't get why they put him as Mario. Like he could have been anyone else. Like they could have put him as any other character. Probably would have been fine. But him as Mario, the main man himself,
Okay. Well,
no,
I don't know about
no.
any other character. I don't know if Chris Pratt could pull off Princess Peach, but
Okay, well,
you said any
I
other
could just
character.
imagine. That's fair. That's fair.
uh,
Mario.
oh god, that'd probably be actually pretty enjoyable. I would watch that.
I would laugh. That'd be great.
All
But okay, not any character, but any male character, I guess.
right.
There you go.
Mario,
That's
save
funny though.
me.
Yeah.
All right. Number two on around the point. CD Projekt Red has announced the next 10 years of gaming, pretty much, for us to talk about and wait with curious anticipation. All right, reading from IGN, it says CD Projekt Red has announced the code names and brief descriptions for 5 new games, including 3 Witcher games, a new Cyberpunk game, and their first ever brand new IP. Revealed on Twitter, it marks a major next step for the developer in multiple respects, from developing its own IP from scratch to developing multiple full-size games at one time. In a separate release, the company says it is also adding multiplayer to the majority of future projects. This also marks the first time we've learned the new Witcher trilogy will not be the only new games set in the universe. The 5 games announced are all under codenames and they go as followed. Codename Orion is the next Cyberpunk game, which will take the Cyberpunk franchise further and continue harnessing the potential for this dark future universe. It will be developed in-house by the new, not in, sorry, it will be developed by the new CD Projekt studio that is currently set up in the United States. Polaris, a codename for the next installment in the Witcher series of games, which was recently announced, was in pre-production. It is the beginning of a new saga. They say, CD Projekt being, we aim to release 2 more Witcher games after Polaris, creating a AAA RPG trilogy. The full trilogy is intended to be released in a 6-year period. So by the time the first one comes out, in the next 6 years, so 3 years in between, we will have the complete trilogy. Canis Majoris, a fully fledged Witcher game separate to the new Witcher saga, starting with Polaris. It will be developed by an external studio, headed by experienced developers who have worked on past Witcher games. It's, however, currently not clear which developer is working on the project. Cyrus, the game developed by the studio called The Molasses Flood, which I have no clue what that is, set in the Witcher universe and created with the support of CD Projekt Red, will differ from our past productions, offering multiplayer gameplay on top of a single player experience, including a campaign with quest and story. And finally, Hadar, the codename for a third, entirely distinct IP created from scratch within CD Projekt Red. The project is in the early stages of the creative process, which means we are not developing any game yet, but, working extensively on the foundation for this new setting. So, in a move very unprecedented in the video game industry, a publisher and developer has come out and announced everything they've working on. They pulled a Marvel on us here, as opposed to a lot of other developers with announcing games a year or so before they come out. CD Projekt says, hey, here's everything that we got coming. Here's everything that we got working on. Now we're going to go away and we're going to work on these things, which I think is kind of refreshing. I think it's really interesting. And coming off my playthrough of Cyberpunk, I have not really renewed faith. I'll never forgive CD Projekt Red for what happened with the release of Cyberpunk and how they handled everything going on around that. I'll never forgive them, but it is time to move on, in my eyes at least, and get excited for the next wave of games. It's interesting to see that they are trying to put the Witcher trilogy out in a relatively old school timeline. 3 years in between each game. Pump these things out. Hopefully, they're all very high quality. Um, and yeah, I think this is kind of cool. It's like I said, it's refreshing to see a studio, developer, publisher, whatever you want to call them, the kind of everything all in one. Just come out and say, hey, here's what we're going on. Here's the expected timeline releases, and sit back and wait. What do you think, man?
No, yeah, this is really exciting to hear that they got a lot of stuff still going on. It's cool to hear that they announced all these things in like, yeah, again, as you said, the Marvel style. Um, yeah, no, I'm excited to see more games from them. I know Cyber 2077 was not great, but I still enjoy that game for what I can see that they've done with it. I've really enjoyed it. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what other games to come out with. I'm excited for the new Witcher. I'm excited for all these new projects, and I'm even more happy to hear that they didn't just up and leave Cyberpunk completely, and they are continuing to maybe make another Cyberpunk game. And I am happy to hear that because I don't want them to give up on that game. I like the Cyberpunk universe, and hopefully, again, Cyberpunk 2077 was a big wake up call, and hopefully the suits up top learn to not force the developers to push out a game so quickly and actually give them time to make a video game. So yeah,
Well, I will say
altogether good
that,
news.
I think Cyberpunk 2077 is a great game. The problem and still is, whatever you want to phrase it, is it wasn't what they promised. They overpromised and underdelivered, and then it launched in one of the worst launches in the history of our industry. So, but taking all that away, I still think Cyberpunk 2077 is a great to maybe even amazing game, just taking it as it is and as it exists. But being as tapped in as we are to the industry, like most people out there, they promised a lot and didn't really deliver on most of that, other than the fact that it is like you said, a really interesting universe. I love the universe of Cyberpunk. I could play 5 games set in this universe. I think it's so deep and so interesting and so uniquely woven within our own existence, but it's entirely different sides. It really does feel like the side universe to our current universe. It's like, it's the Earth 1 or Earth 2 to the regular DC storylines. Like it's it still exists in our timeline, but it's what happened if our timeline diverged in a very impactful way. So I will say this, yeah,
Yeah, no, I agree with
I'm
that.
very excited.
I
So
think it's a great game. It's just yeah, it has its flaws. Again, it definitely overpromised and didn't deliver. But yeah, I mean, it's a great game. It's just, you can't it's hard to give it great with all of its flaws, especially at launch. Uh that's why I knock it down to good because it's a good game. Nonetheless, even with its flaws and with its, definitely overpromise and deliver, it's still a good game. And it's definitely worth a pickup, especially with how low the price has gotten for the game too. It's insane. um, yeah, I think it's good. Again, I'm going off topic, but yes, it's great to hear all these news. I'm happy to hear that have so many games they're working on, and I can't wait to see them come out.
what do you think about them saying that they're going to be adding multiplayer for the majority of the projects? Because we know that multiplayer was planned for Cyberpunk. Just clearly they had other things to worry about and to deliver. Also we were supposed to get more DLC packs other than just one, but the fact that for a year or so after the release they had to fix the game, so all that development time that was supposed to be put into DLC packs and expansions and all that got put into actually finishing the game that they released. What do you think about maybe a Witcher game having multiplayer? I think the more interesting one would definitely be multiplayer in the Cyberpunk universe. I think that is definitely the much more interesting universe to have a multiplayer part to your game. Don't functionality in some way. What do you think? Excuse me.
No, I agree with that. I think Cyberpunk would be the better choice for multiplayer. I don't know. The only multiplayer I could think of for Witcher that would be cool is maybe co-op, if they're talking about that kind of multiplayer. Or maybe they want to do some kind of weird mode where it's like one player plays as a monster and all the other people play as like maybe Witchers, I guess. Uh, I don't know. It is kind of weird, and I kind of hope they're not just shoe in multiplayer modes because I really don't want to go back to the early 2000s where literally every game had to have a single player and a multiplayer. So I'd be happy if they probably don't do this, but if they somehow have some creative idea up their sleeve, then I'm up for it. I always do like a good multiplayer mode, but I also don't want it to be forced into the game. Because I mean, again, they've never made a multiplayer game, so it's gonna be a little different. I mean, heck, I mean, I guess they did make a big jump from literally making third-person action RPGs to literally a first-person, RPG game, which was Cyberpunk. So, I mean, I guess they can do stuff with that. I mean, I think Cyberpunk shooting and all that's really, really good. It's not perfect, and definitely for multiplayer, it's especially not perfect. But I mean, who knows? Maybe they got something up their sleeve. Who knows?
What do you think about, obviously we've heard rumors and rumblings out there that they were expanding, they were bringing their in-house team. I think they've said they've doubled it in the past 4 or so years, but then also now we have confirmed that the new studio in the US is going to be spearheading the development of the next Cyberpunk game. So they're handing off Cyberpunk. Well, I guess not really handing off. They're still making it. Just another studio is making it, and they're diving headfirst into the new trilogy of Witcher games, and that they say they tend to be released in a 6 year period, which gets me very excited. I mean, we talked about earlier in this episode how game development takes a much longer time nowadays. So this is all kind of refreshing. It's refreshing to see that, a 6 year period means obviously like one game comes out 3 years later, the next game comes out 3 years later, the final game comes out. And if those are all very well made games, which, for all the problems that Cyberpunk 2077 had before that, all the games that they made were renowned for the quality and the polish. So if they can return to that form and release them in, I would say, I guess, a more abbreviated time period than we're used to in the modern video game world, that's very exciting. And then have all these other teams working on the next Cyberpunk game, different styles of games set in the same universes that they've set up. And then I think the thing that's very exciting is the first time that they get to go out and make something wholly their own. Because obviously The Witcher was based off a series of books, Cyberpunk based off a board game. So the Hadar, the code name for the new IP, is something that they've cultivated all on their own and came up with their own ideas, which I think is really important for developers to be able to flex their creativity and give us something that only they came up with and not based on anything else. What do you think about all that? That was like 4 or 5 questions. Sorry.
First question, yes, happy to see that they're taking their time, and yeah, as you said, like within a 6 year thing, like I'm totally fine with that as long as they take that time to make a very amazing game, kind of like how Rockstar does with their thing. Where I mean, again, every game before Cyberpunk, they've nailed, they've in well blew like basically everybody's expectations, especially Witcher 3. I mean, still what the most like popular, probably close to number one RPG out there to this day. I mean, it's amazing. So
Well,
I'm
well,
hoping that they can. What's up?
my question was, it's not like the Rockstar thing because it said they're planning to release the entire trilogy within a 6 year period. So it is a much more abbreviated
Oh,
or
okay.
contracted time period that they're planning to get these games out. So in my head, obviously, it's kind of like what we've seen right now with Avatar, the movies. Like, they've been worked on for so long, and now they're going to come out back to back to back. Obviously, with a year in between or 2 years in between or whatever. But like they're being worked on at the same time together to create one uniform story. And especially, like I said, in AAA gaming, now we're used to the sequel comes out in 4 to 5 years. Well, this one they're planning to have a game every 3 years in this trilogy by, the way the math works. And that's kind of what I was asking, like, do you think that's a bad thing? I kind of think it's, again, a little bit refreshing in that regard, but that's what I was asking. Sorry.
Oh, okay. To that, I would say it's kind of worrying because again, like I don't know how their development is being done if they are going to be coming out with like a whole trilogy within 6 years. Um, that's kind of crazy. Like that's 2 years per game, but also I don't know how like if they are developing all of them at once in a sense. Like I don't know. But if they can, if that first one comes out and they nail it, I kind of believe in them. Like I feel like they can really do it, but I don't know. Like I feel like that's kind of hard to make like a basically what I would call Witcher 3 within, and make 3 of those within 6 years. Like that's kind of crazy. And then I don't know how crazy they're gonna go with all these games. Are they just gonna be linear? Are they all gonna be open world? Like Witcher 3 is like, like what are they going for with this? I feel like it depends on their scale and like what they are doing. Again, I don't know how their development cycle is gonna be done. I don't know if they're just making all of them at once. Like as soon as like literally the first one comes out, they're already halfway done with the second one, and I don't know. But it does kind of worry me because again, like they're promising 3 games within 6 years, which is really hard to do, I feel like, especially in nowadays. So I want to believe in them because if they do, they're really doing something crazy that I feel like most of the game industry, when it comes to AAA games, really can't do unless you're calling it Call of Duty. But Call of Duty doesn't really do that much more crazy every year. So I don't know. I really don't know. Like I want to say this is great, but I'm also kind of worried. I feel like again, as much as I like Cyberpunk 2077, it also just worries me because they went from Witcher 3 to that and it was just such a big huge flop, and I want to say that they can make a good game again, but I'm still worried. And again, this kind of worries me because again, 2 games or no, 3 games, 6 years. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, the rumor is that first Witcher game isn't coming out till 2025, so they're, I guess, working on each game for 3 years. Which, if you have a good solid base, that's the same time frame that you said Call of Duty games get made on. Each team works on the game for
Yeah,
3 years, so we'll see. I have a lot of hope just because absolutely love The Witcher to death. So I have a lot of hope, and then
I will. I will say one thing I already know is going to happen. Let's say the first game comes out, mind blowing. Everybody loves it. Greatest RPG, close to Witcher 3. I know for a fact within those 3 years, I don't think a ton is going to change about the games. Like they're probably going to add some new things, but there's not going to be a lot of change, and people are not going to like that. Guarantee it. I mean, just like the God of War thing, people are already complaining about that game because it looks pretty similar to the 2018 God of War, and I feel like that's what's going to happen with these games. I feel like the first game is going to come out. It's going to be really, really good, probably, hopefully. And, people are going to be blown away, but then 3 years later, they come out with the next Witcher game, and people are like, well, wait, this looks the same. And then, it's going to be this whole thing where people are like, well, we're going to have to review this worse than the last one because it looks the same. Now, they probably will add a lot of new features and everything, but it will probably look the same. Like, I don't know how much more crazy they can really reinvent the game after every 3 years, which I don't have a problem with as long as they, add maybe something new and, they don't have to reinvent the wheel every time they come out the game, but just like, add new stuff, which I feel like they'll do. But you just know for a fact that people are going to review it badly because they're going to be like, well, it's the same looking game, so you just know, I know that's gonna be a problem
oh yeah,
for them.
I
I
100%
won't
agree.
have a problem with
Yeah,
it,
I
but
don't
I
care.
know people will have that problem.
Like we said in our Horizon
Yeah.
review, I liked Horizon Forbidden West because it made what I already loved better. And it's like I don't know why people want a new franchise or IP every single time a game comes out. It's like no, that's not the way I think, and it's also not the way that the world works in terms of development. It takes way longer to develop a brand new IP and a brand new game than it does to develop a sequel. But all right, anything else? If not, let's get going.
Nope.
All
Yep.
right. Number three? Yeah, number
Yep.
three on Around the Point. Um, After the leaks earlier this week, EA has finally revealed the next Need for Speed. The story goes as this: EA has officially revealed Need for Speed Unbound, the first Need for Speed game in 3 years, and it hits next gen consoles and PC this December. After leaking earlier this week, EA has officially released the official reveal trailer for Need for Speed, and as leaks and rumors suggested, it's quite a drastic shift in style for the series. It features a slick, realistic visual fans of the series know quite well, but this time mixed with an anime-like animation style. However, it won't. I mean, not however. Sorry, I read that wrong. It won't be. I'm having troubles.
You got this.
It likely won't be for everybody, but me personally, I honestly think it looks really, really cool. But time will tell, and we will find out on December 2nd whether the game is good or not. Logan, I know you're not the racing guy in the podcast here, but I very much am the racing guy. And I don't know if you got a chance to watch this trailer or not. If you did, that's great. Let me know. I think this looks really, really cool and exactly what the franchise needed. A big jump away from what everybody else is doing and a return to a more design aesthetic in terms of how the game is built up of some of the games of old, like Underground 2, Most Wanted, some of those, but a visual style that I don't really think we've ever seen before. I think it looks really unique and interesting. And I think a return to the more street aesthetic of some of the earlier Need for Speed games can overall work out well in their favor, and I'm very excited for this. Unfortunately, it comes out in the worst time ever for me, so I won't be playing it when it comes out, but I will probably jump on next year during the inevitable summer down time. Quiet time. There,
Yes.
quiet time. That's what I was looking for. What do you think, man? Did you get a chance to look at this?
Didn't watch the trailer, but I will say just from the screenshot I'm looking at, I really like the new style. I like that they're trying something different and they're doing something different than just about every racing game does nowadays, where it's all just super realistic simulation, other than like Forza Horizon, which is a little bit more arcadey, but still a very realistic look to the game. Uh, this looks cool, but again, will I play it? No, I don't like racing games. I don't care for them. I find them kind of boring. But each to their own. Maybe they could do something really wacky and cool with this game. Maybe, I mean, it looks like it's going to be obviously more arcadey, I guess. I would hope. I mean, with the art style, or are they going to just keep it more like simulation, but with an anime looking style? I don't know. I never played any of the Need for Speed games, so each to their own. But I do again, I will appreciate the fact that they're trying something new with the art style, and I'm actually digging it a lot. Like this looks sick. And I'm sure it's gonna have a really good soundtrack. And yeah, I guess I'll have to watch the trailer and see. I don't know if they show any gameplay or if it's just a cinematic trailer. Um, but yeah, you'll have to let me know if you do play it. I kind of have a feeling this is gonna get delayed. I feel like any game that gets in December most of the time gets delayed, so I have a feeling this is gonna be delayed till next year. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. So
Callisto Protocol
that's all I got to
better
say.
Callisto Protocol better not get fucking delayed. I have my schedule planned
Yeah,
perfectly.
hopefully not. I don't think it will because it seems like it's literally there. Like it's like literally like they're showing so much of Callisto Protocol. Like I would be very surprised
And
if
also,
it does get delayed.
it kind of can't because you got Dead
Yeah.
Space in January at the end of January, so you definitely don't want to come out after Dead Space, the game that you are essentially like a spiritual successor to. You definitely don't want to come out after the remake of that game. You want to come out before and get the hype of the people playing Dead Space. They're like, oh, I can't wait. Here's this Callisto Protocol game. Let's jump in. I think you definitely can't come out either out after or even near that game. So I think it's one of those that they have to come out, and I have hope that they will. Like you said, everything seems to be good, but hey, everything seemed to be good at Cyberpunk before it came out. So
Fair.
who
Did you see
knows?
the Dead Space gameplay by the way?
Yeah, Looks fantastic. I can't wait.
Dude, oh my god.
I love Dead
Wish I
Space,
could
man.
play it.
You can play it.
It looks
You have the
cool. I
ability to
can't.
play it.
I have the ability to play it, but can I beat it? No. I could try as hard as I want. I'll probably just watch it and be amazed by the graphics, but probably never will play it myself because it looks really, really good.
Yeah, apparently I read a story that they have this new skin tearing technology. So along with the limb removal from the original game, like if you hit the body, the skin will actually tear. Well, maybe not realistically, but however they program it, the skin will actually tear off where you hit too.
That's sick.
Yeah, it's cool as fuck, man. I can't wait. I'm talking about Dead Space, obviously not Callisto Protocol there, but all right. Let's go to a funny story now. Number 4 on Around the Point. Far Cry 6 is getting a Game of the Year edition without winning any Game of the Year editions, and apparently Ubisoft feels that it's worth charging $120 for. Reading from Kotaku, it says, even by the loose standards of video game marketing, calling Far Cry 6 one of 2021's Games of the Year was a stretch, but Ubisoft went ahead and did it anyway. It didn't stop there either. The French publisher will also be charging $120 for the spruced up release of its 2021 sequel. That's the price of 2 Game of the Years. Each one for each actual Game of the Year mention Far Cry 6 received. So they only mentioned 2. So everything that's included with this game, if you really care to know, I don't really care to know, is the base game Far Cry 6, the DLC upcoming Lost Between Worlds, the season pass that was included, that includes the 3 DLC episodes that came out before, a classic edition of Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, and then 3 additional DLC packs called the Vice Pack, the Croc Hunter Pack, and the Jungle Expedition Pack. So Logan, what do you think about a Game of the Year edition being $120 for a game that never won a Game of the Year?
Well, sounds like the early 2008 era where literally every game got. Um, yeah, that's interesting to see a Game of the Year edition for this horrible, just bad Far Cry game. Uh, I don't have much to say about this crappy game, I swear. Speaking of this game, I'm gonna go off topic because this game doesn't matter to me, and this is about this game actually. My friend just yesterday, like, so I talked to him a couple times, and he tells me about him playing Far Cry 6, and I was curious to hear, and he really enjoyed it mostly. And then he told me yesterday that he beat the game, and he's like, "I wasted my entire all those hours playing this game." I'm like, yeah, yeah. I'm sorry to hear that, man. I tried to tell you, but he wasted his entire time beating the game, and the ending supposedly is dog shit, which I'm not surprised. Um, so yeah, this is a joke. I wouldn't spend money. I wouldn't even spend anywhere close to this amount of money on Far Cry 6 ever. And I don't know if you know this, but that Far Cry Blood Dragon thing is also a joke. Like, it's bad. They literally just ported over the game, didn't update the frame rate or anything, and it
Well, yeah,
supposedly runs way worse than the original.
yeah, it says just classic
So
edition, so I didn't expect anything to be done. Oh, by the way, I was looking it up while you were talking, and it is confirmed that none of the majorly accepted Game of the Year awards gave Far Cry 6 Game of the Year. So confirmed.
yeah,
Game of the Year edition without winning any major Game of the Year. I'm sure they won one really stupid from, like, I don't know, BigTittyGirls.com Game of the Year. I don't know.
yeah.
I I don't know. I don't know why I thought of that. That's odd as fuck. But yeah, $120, man. $120. Like, granted, yes, I guess there's a lot of content in it. If the
Is
content,
it good content?
yeah, well, that's in the eyes of the beholder, I guess. It's in the eyes of the individual. Sorry,
Yeah.
but $120. I don't know what's worse, this or Skyrim. No, definitely Skyrim at $70. Yeah, that one's definitely worse. This is stupid, but Skyrim at $70 is ridiculous on the
Yeah,
Switch.
that's insane.
Nonetheless, when you can get the PS5 version for $20 cheaper, that one's definitely way
Or if
worse
you
than
own a
this.
Steam Deck, you could just go buy it for even cheaper. And there
Yeah.
you go. Like, come on, people. Like, I hope no one spends $70 on Skyrim. I actually listened to the podcast of that one part, and I'm like, dude, that's so dumb. Like, I don't understand that they would charge $70 on the Switch
Yeah, I thought I
for
was
a I don't even know how old game. What is it, like 10 years, 12 years
2000.
or whatever?
It came out 2011, so 11-year-old game.
Yeah, that's insane.
And what's crazy is on the Nintendo's, and even the upgrade price. The upgrade price is $20. Everyone bitches and complains about Sony's upgrade price, which is still probably not the right move, but at least those are only like 10. I guess they got
That's
that.
fair.
Yeah, $20 to upgrade Skyrim on your Nintendo. I don't want to get into it again because I ripped into him pretty hard last week. I already feel myself getting angry. Fucking hell. All right, anything else on the $120 Far Cry 6 game of the year that wasn't ever game of the year?
Nope. Just don't buy it, please.
Yes,
Don't support it.
definitely do not buy that. All right, number 5 on Around the Point, I think. Yes, the what can only be described as the most wasted use of a fantastic game title of all time. Final Fantasy VII: The First Soldier, the mobile multiplayer battle royale game, is being shut down in January. News comes a month shy of the game's 1-year anniversary, having launched for iOS and Android in November 2021. In a post directly from the developers, Square Enix says, "It is with a heavy heart that we are announcing the end of service for Final Fantasy VII: The First Soldier. We will be ending the service at whatever this time thing is on January 11th, 2023. Despite all of our efforts to bring you regular updates with fresh and exciting content, we haven't been able to deliver the experience that we were hoping to, and that you all deserve. So we have made the extremely tough decision to end service for Final Fantasy VII: The First Soldier. We would like to thank you all for supporting us over the past year. Although there is only a little less than 3 months until service ends, we will continue to make updates during this time, so we hope you will continue to enjoy Final Fantasy VII: The First Soldier until the very end." Coming from me personally, a huge Final Fantasy fan, and even a bigger Final Fantasy VII fan, this was always the stupidest idea of all time. Like, this was never gonna work. It was dumb. A battle royale game set in that universe is already a dumb idea. A battle royale game strictly on mobile consoles is even a dumb idea. Logan?
Yeah, dude, I remember seeing this game like when it was announced, and I'm like, why? Like, it's just such a cash grab of a freaking game. Like, it's just like, oh yeah, well, it's like, oh hey, uh, Ratchet and Clank. Everybody loves that game, right? Let's make a Ratchet and Clank battle royale and put it on the mobile device. Dude, I'm not a big Final Fantasy VII fan, but even if I was, this was a joke. And honestly, I'm not surprised it's shutting down. Actually, I'm kind of surprised it is shutting down because most of these mobile games surprisingly last longer than they do. So I'm kind of surprised it did end. But dude, this looked so dumb. It didn't look good at all. Secondly, it's on mobile only, which I mean, I didn't care. I probably wouldn't even play it if it came to console in any way or form. Uh, yeah, no, this is bad, and I'm happy that this game's shutting down because it doesn't deserve to exist. Yeah, that's how rough I'm gonna be.
Yeah,
It doesn't deserve to exist. It's just a dumb cash grab game.
We're
That's
gonna
it.
we're gonna talk a little later about another Square Enix multiplayer game that is shutting down, which I am now realizing I definitely ordered this wrong, but we'll get to that in a second. This is a shout out to someone who loves most of your games. Well, not most. Loves a lot of your games, Square Enix. Stop making multiplayer games. You're not good at it. It's just
Literally.
I understand why you want to capitalize on the financial benefits that come with having an ever expanding multiplayer game. I get it. There's a lot of money to be made, and you want to be a part of that. But I'm sorry, you don't really have the franchises that deserve to exist in multiplayer in any meaningful capacity. Maybe if you go build something from the ground up in a brand new universe that works out well for you, then we'll see. But Final Fantasy, ladies and gentlemen, is not a battle royale game. It was not built for battle royale. It does not make sense in battle royale, and it makes even less sense to be a strictly only mobile game. There, I said it. Square Enix, get your shit together because I love you. Figure your shit out. Just make Final Fantasy. That's all I want you to make. I don't care about anything else. Just keep making Final Fantasy games. Come out with fucking 5 a year. I don't care. Okay, actually, I would care. That would suck. But just make Final Fantasy. You're really good at it. Stop making all this other shit. All right. Rant over. Anything else you got to say? I know you're not a Final Fantasy guy, but you do
Nope.
like some games that Square Enix. You're more of the Western Square Enix type, which I guess now they don't really own too much of that. But I mean, what do you
That's
think?
fair.
What would you see or want in a Square Enix mobile game, or not mobile game, multiplayer game? What do you think's out there for them?
Just stop. Um, when they used to own Hitman, there could have been a cool multiplayer thing for that, but obviously they don't own Hitman anymore. Um, and also, I mean, I could. Here's the thing: like, if they really want to make a battle royale so badly, really reinvent the wheel here, because it looked like all they did was just do the same damn thing every bad battle royale does out there, which is just it's a third-person shooter. It looks like they added some dumb little abilities from the game, and they just said, "Well, this is Final Fantasy Battle Royale." What I would think would be more interesting is that they took the gameplay aspect from the Final Fantasy games and kind of like whenever you get into fights, it becomes, turn-based or something like that. Or something like that. I don't know. I don't know how that would work, but it could be
Well,
pretty
it's like
cool.
it's like the multiplayer Pokemon stuff. Like, that combat
Yeah.
system is still the same when you play multiplayer battles. Um, so yeah, I can kind of see it. I still don't think that would work, but like I see what
It
you're
wouldn't
saying.
yeah, it would have a lot of problems, but that would be more of reinventing like thing that would be more interesting, especially if you're like grabbing all these things and all that. Like I don't know how it would work, I don't know how you design that, but I would at least give you some props for trying something instead of literally just porting a crappy basic cookie cutter third person battle royale game that's like there's like a billion of those games on the mobile device, and you just shoved in some of the Final Fantasy stuff in there. That's all you did. That's exactly what that is. And honestly, yeah, it's funny to see that it failed and it deserves to fail, but you know how much money they probably made off of it. They probably made good money off of it, and they probably
Oh
put
yeah, they probably
almost
did.
no money developing that game at all. So, yeah.
It's a problem with mobile. There's a lot of money to be made on mobile, and it usually leads to a outcry of sub-average games in my eyes. There are some good mobile games out there that I hear about, but I don't care to play any of them. So,
Very, very rare, honestly.
all right, couple of rumors coming up next. Number 6 on Around the Point. A leaker suggests that the next Call of Duty game from the very beloved developer Sledgehammer Games is going back to the future. A surprising leak suggests that Call of Duty Advanced Warfare 2 is currently in development at Sledgehammer Games. 2014's Advanced Warfare broke new ground for the franchise by taking players to the futuristic combat zones rather than historical conflicts or modern-day battles of old. Sledgehammer Games developed Call of Duty Vanguard, a World War II adventure that released last year, but leakers suggest the developer will go back to the future for its next game. Logan, we're mere days away from getting our hands on Modern Warfare 2. I am a week and days away from getting my hands on Modern Warfare 2. But what do you think about the idea of going back to the future for the next Sledgehammer game? I will say I like Advanced Warfare. I don't love Advanced Warfare. But do you think maybe it's time? We seem to be in this endless loop of people want modern day shooters. Well, we're tired of modern day shooters. People want futuristic shooters. Now we're tired of futuristic shooters. And then go back to World War II. Well, we don't really like that either. And we're in this endless fucking loop of just not liking the things that we're getting. And I don't know where to go from here or how to move forward in any meaningful capacity. Like I don't know.
Okay.
I'm kind of stuck. I don't know
So
where to go.
so the thing is, if they made good World War II shooters, people wouldn't be complaining, but they didn't. They made very, very bad World War II shooters. Both Vanguard, which is the biggest joke of all time. Like people want to complain about Modern Warfare 2 with some of the things they have problem with. Like Vanguard literally, I mean, even when I listened to the podcast you guys did, where Thor Kage didn't buy the Vanguard, and it sounds like a lot of people didn't. Like even for me, a big Call of Duty fan that pretty much just bought every Call of Duty, even the ones that were like known as the worst, which was Infinity. I always forget this, Infinite Warfare or whatever. Um, that game like was I still bought that game, but that's also because it came with Call of Duty 4. But this game, like Vanguard, was just such a joke. Like it's so insanely bad in every way or form. It spits on World War II and it just says this is a World War II shooter, but it's nothing like a World War II shooter. They try to do all this dumb garbage stuff to make it good. It's just bad. Zombies was bad. Campaign looked like dog shit. Multiplayer looked okay, I guess. I mean, I guess. But like honestly, That's why World War II shooters aren't popular because they just didn't make good ones. That's the problem. So I mean, whatever. I mean, they figured out that they suck at making World War II shooters, so I guess they're just gonna go back to the future again. Um, I liked Advanced Warfare mostly. It has its problems. Like I thought the campaign was good. I Zombies was not the greatest. I was very hyped for Zombies because I love how they introduced zombies in this game. I don't know if you know about this, but like so how they introduced it was kind of like how they did with Call of Duty World at War. Where literally Call of Duty World at War, you beat the campaign, and that's your first time ever seeing zombies, which was called Nazi zombies at the time. Uh, but if you play the survival mode, which by the way was fun and good in Advanced Warfare, if you beat all the maps, at the very end, it does this random scene happens where a bunch of these cancers drop down and it blows up, and then all of a sudden zombies start popping up, and you have to like escape really quickly to this helicopter or whatever you want to call it. I can't even think of VTOL, whatever it is. You run to, you get on it, it shows a cutscene, it shows like all the zombies, like World War Z style and all that. And it was the most insanely cool intro to like finally seeing that zombies was coming to this, because this is the first time I believe a different company and all the Call of Duties actually making a zombies. It ended up being bad, but it was cool. It was cool to see that they were trying something, and I liked the intro to it. But like, yeah, campaign was good. I thought survival was fun, zombies was bad, and multiplayer was pretty enjoyable. Other than the fact that it was at that time when they were doing this stupid supply drop crap. I hate supply drops, and I'm happy they're gone from Call of Duty to never exist again. Um, I feel like this is their most successful game, so maybe it's a good thing they go back to this. But I hope they do something unique and cool. Maybe they can make future shooters, and then everyone else can make their own different genre and year and everything. Because yeah, they should just not go back to World War II ever again. They should never touch World War II again. They clearly can't make a World War II shooter. So
Before we move on, there's a question that I was pondering while you were talking. What? How do I want to phrase this? Well, I guess it's not really that difficult to phrase, but what era of human existence or future human existence that we haven't experienced yet would you want a Call of Duty game to be set in? What would you want it to be if it's not past, future, present? Oh, I
personally,
guess
I'd like to see another Infinite Warfare.
yeah.
Dude, that was where it was at.
I love
That
that
was where it
shit.
was at. Future, and it was sick. The campaign, again, if you have not played Infinite Warfare and you could ever pick it up for a very cheap price, do it. Awesome campaign, super cool. Multiplayer dog shit, which is sad, but the campaign, even the first zombies map, was really good in Infinite Warfare. Like, dude, that freaking campaign was so good. It did some unique things, and I liked the time period they're doing. I feel like that future was where it was at. Like, I think that was the peak for me. Like, I think that was the coolest future game that they've made out of all the Call of Duty games that came out. Like, I think Advanced Warfare is also really cool. They tried some unique things, and they kind of made it semi realistic to our times, because we do technically have exoskeletons. So it was cool to see that kind of stuff in there. Um, so again, I think that's also pretty cool, because it's kind of like a mix between modern day, but also it is future because it's more exoskeleton based and everything. And I also felt like they did some unique things with that. So I think it's kind of cool to see it go back to the future. I hope not all Call of Duties do that. I don't want to see every Call of Duty company go back to future. Do your own thing, please. Just stick. I don't want to see all future shooters. Like maybe one company could do future, like Sledgehammer. Treyarch, I don't know what you could do. I'm sorry. Find something. And then Infinity Ward. I can't say their name. If an Infinity Ward, they could stick to modern. That's what they need to do. So Treyarch, maybe keep going down the Black Ops line. Just I hope they don't all go to future because of this. But I am kind of interested in this game. Do I know how good it's going to be? I don't know, because Sledgehammer, their last two games have been really, really bad. Even though I semi enjoyed World War II, it was still really bad. So,
All right, let me throw something at you real quick.
mhm.
What do you think about this? A single player focused Call of Duty game. I guess you can throw a multiplayer in there. So a more traditional Call of Duty multiplayer game set in a fantasy world where you shoot bows and arrows and spells.
I don't think that would work out, man.
Oh, damn. I got
There wouldn't
excited.
be there. It would. I just. Well, you would. There would.
Okay,
For
okay,
first
okay,
thing, I
okay,
don't think
okay.
they
Let me
could.
backtrack. How about a Harry
Okay,
Potter-esque Call of Duty?
it would be pretty sick if a different company did that. I don't think they could do that, but if a different company did that, I think that'd be pretty cool. I don't know why that would be cool, but that actually sounds kind of cool. Like I could see people doing something like that. Like like they could maybe instead of making it Harry Potter exact, but they can make it semi Harry Potter, like close to the story, but not exactly. And they can add like a lot of different weapons in there, like like different outfits and armors and like different spells clearly, but different like wands and different staves and different, maybe even swords and stuff. It could be really cool. I don't think any of them can make a game like that, but I do think if a side company thought of something like that and they did it well, it could be really cool. I have a feeling there is a game like that out there, but I just can't think of it. But that would be really cool.
All right. Make it, Activision. Do it now. All right, number 7 on Around the Point, another rumor out there. A remake or a remaster of 2017's Horizon Zero Dawn is reportedly in the works alongside the rumored new Horizon multiplayer game. This comes news. This news comes by way of MP First, which reports that its sources tell the publication that this remaster/remake will feature an improved lighting system, overhauled textures, better animation, and character models more in line with those of Horizon Forbidden West, Zero Dawn's sequel that released back in February. However, he goes on to note that its sources didn't say whether it was a built from the ground up remake or a remaster. It might, however, fall somewhere in between. According to MP First, one of the project's big focuses is bringing Horizon Forbidden West accessibility features over to Zero Dawn, something Sony did with The Last of Us Part 2 and Part 1 respectively. As far as gameplay changes go, the publication says its sources say they will mostly be quality of life improvements. It is also unclear if this remake/remaster will be at the same scale of The Last of Us Part 1 or something lesser. Only time will tell. So there was a bunch of hate that came out when the story ran. A lot of people thought this was stupid, and I'm of two minds. One of mine is a stupid, the other mind is not stupid. If this is more akin to The Last of Us Part 1 and a ground up remake of this game, that is dumb. We don't need it. Forbidden Zero Dawn is still an amazing looking game, an amazing playing game, and we don't need it. If this is a more just remaster update, said they to bring it in line, I personally think that's fine, only because it's something that we've seen Sony kind of go down the path of before. With they have the TV shows come out, they re-put out the first game, so that after people watch TV shows, they can go play that first game in a more updated, acceptable fashion and an easier way to address it, and then they can play the sequel. I think all that's fine. However, if this game comes out in $70, it will not be fine because we don't need that. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you. I also just don't think they should do it at all because like there's just no point at all. Even if you do just like a slight remaster of it, like why? Like, do we need it? No. Like, I mean, you can literally just get Horizon Zero Dawn for a cheap price right now. In which, by the way, for the people that don't know this, on PS5 you already do get a semi next gen upgrade, which updates it from 30 to 60 frames per second. And there you go, you got your remaster. You can play it 4K, 60 frames per second. It still looks like a really good game. Don't need a freaking remaster. There's no point for it at all. Now, I would be more hyped if they said maybe they were going to do like a Master Chief collection of the Killzone games. That would be sick. I would lose my mind if they came out with all the Killzone games in a remastered form. That would be kind of cool. I'd be more impressed with that than I would be with this. So, yeah, I kind of think this is dumb. I still don't really agree with Last of Us Part 1 either, but I will admit it was, a pretty big upgrade from, the remastered version. It still shouldn't have come out because it hasn't been that long, but whatever. It's still, a good game. I enjoyed it. So, But yeah, I really don't see this one. This one makes no sense to me at all. It literally came out not long ago. You don't need a freaking remastered of this game, especially if, like, they're probably not even going to do that much to this remaster. There's just no point. And they probably are going to charge $70, which is going to be insane in my opinion. Um so yeah, I don't agree with this. I'd much prefer Killzone. Please bring that back. Maybe not the entire trilogy, but just 1 through 3. Give me a remaster of
Uh,
those. I'd be happy.
we just need 2 and 3. One's not that good.
That's true. That's true. Dude, I would love to see 2 again.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know. Like I said, I'm on two minds. I think this is smart from a business perspective, not really smart from a consumer perspective. Having an updated version of a game come out around the same time that your TV adaptation or your film adaptation of something gives new players a way to play it in its best form, its best in its best looking way. That's something DJ and I talked about last week with The Last of Us Part One and the TV show together. I think it's smart from a business perspective. From a consumer perspective, like you and I, as someone who have played Zero Dawn, yeah, it makes zero sense to us. Like, it's a 2017 game. Even if this comes out in 2024, that's I don't know how many years is that? 6, 7? It's still not long enough.
yeah, it's not even close.
Yeah. I think it's smart from a business perspective. From a consumer perspective, it's not intelligent.
Like, it made sense with the PS4 and PS3 thing where they had Last of Us and they had The Last of Us remastered. That's because it wasn't able to play PS3 games on the PS4, so that made sense. But the fact that we could literally play Horizon Zero Dawn on the PS5 and it's still got the 60 frames per second upgrade, there's even more not of a reason to need this. Like, you don't need this. There's no need for it. Put your effort into something else, not this. People can already, I mean, if this does come out, I already don't recommend it. I don't even care what it looks like. You could literally just go buy Horizon Zero Dawn complete collection for maybe $20, maybe even 15, and you get the 60 frames per second upgrade. There you go. You got your remaster. It looks very good on the PS5. I mean, heck, I beat the whole game on the PS5, and we don't need a remaster at all. There's no point for it. Oh, that was it, by the way.
Sorry, Peyton was talking to me
Oh,
about
okay.
a problem of some sort. So, all right, moving on. The next story, not really a story, just an update. Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales has its PC release date on November 18th. You will get to swing into the world of Spider-Man Miles Morales on PC. There's a trailer up there detailing all of its updates and everything, its PC features, and it's what we expect. I mean, it's good. Nothing's bad. It's just what we expect. Comes with unlocked frame rate, ray trace reflections and shadows, ultra widescreen support, NVIDIA DLSS, and AMD FRS, NVIDIA Reflex, which I don't know what that is, and then DualSense controller support if plugged in to the console itself. So yeah, there you go. Those of you that have recently jumped into Spider-Man on PC when it came out in August, you can jump into the it's a sequel spinoff. I don't know. I guess kind of like a 1.5.
Side game, I would call
Yeah,
it.
side game
Yeah.
spinoff 1.5. So this is a very good game in my opinion. So those of you out there that haven't got a chance to play it, you can play it in probably its best form. So what do you think, Luke? Are you gonna jump in on your old Steam Deck now that you got it?
No, because I already beat the game and I own them on a PS5. But if I didn't, maybe. But yeah, no, this is cool. This is good news. I have a question. Where's Uncharted 4? I thought that was supposed to come to PC like a century ago. Like I've heard nothing about that game coming to PC since it got announced
Well, if you
at
would
all.
actually read through the document, on October 19th, Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection releases for PC. But clearly
When?
someone doesn't read the document.
No, I know. No. I already know that it's. Wait. Oh, is it?
It's the Legacy of Thieves, the 4 and the Lost Legacy.
Okay. What? You know what, Mike? I don't want
What?
to hear it. Okay, I literally do. I've been. I didn't read all the way down because I figured,
Oh,
well,
dude.
okay, I can shut up now.
When
I
you asked
now
that
know.
question, I just kind of smiled. I was like, "Oh,
Dude,
Logan."
because literally every week I've been thinking about that because I'm like, when is that coming out? Because I feel like all these games are being announced and then coming out like very quickly. And then Uncharted, I feel like has been announced for like half a century ago, and it never came out. And I'm like, where is it? So now I know. Nope. To get back to the story though, this is good news. I think this is always good news. I think this is cool. I'm happy that PC is going to be able to play these games. I don't think anyone should have a problem with this. I think this is great. And I mean, clearly PlayStation is doing this whole thing where it's like a year or so after it comes out, so that's fine. But yeah, no, this is cool. Again, I think this is nothing but good news, and I'm happy that more play these games just like on Xbox. I'm totally happy with that. I'm fine with people being able to have more people play a game is never a problem in my opinion. So,
All right. Continuing on with what I'm now realizing was a terribly ordered episode, let's go back around to Square Enix and its live service games. Platinum Games, the developer behind the much maligned Babylon's Fall, has come out and during an interview talked and apologized to their fan base about it. In an interview with Video Games Chronicles, the CEO of Platinum Games, and I'm about to butcher this, but I'll try. Atsushi Inaba has said the only thing we can comment on here in terms of the closure of Babylon's Fall service itself is that this unfortunate conclusion might have been something that had triggered some disappointment, perhaps maybe even anger to our dedicated fans and players, all three of them. He continues, and any disappointment we might have caused for our fan base is something we feel extremely sorry about. The fact that we led our dedicated fans to feel that way as a developer. Providing any sentiment other than enjoyment and fun in our creations to players is something that we're not very happy about at all as a developer. He goes on to state, however, despite the game's failure, Platinum Games still wants to invest in live service games. There's a lot that we learned from this experience, he says, and it's not changed our future plans or outlook moving forward regarding doing live service games at all. Live service games are definitely something we want to do and put our effort in moving forward. So what do you think?
um yeah, that's good for you, Babylon's Fall.
The only thing I will say is
uh,
Square Enix, please do not buy their next game. Let them make their own
yeah,
failures. Don't give them any money to make another failure that you have to deal with. Let Platinum Games go find
exactly.
somebody else to
I
make something.
It's even more crazy because Platinum Games usually makes really good games, and then they came out with this, and then it's
Well,
like,
I mean,
what is this?
we talked about it the last episode that you were on. Platinum Games is kind of like a roller coaster ride. So they make good games and then they come out with bad games. Like people forget they made that Avatar game, The Legend of Korra, which wasn't very good. And then they made
Oh yeah.
they make games like well, Bayonetta, very good game. And they made Vanquish, which is a underappreciated game. Vanquish is awesome, by the way. If you guys like third-person shooters out there, Vanquish is fantastic. But yeah, they really existed in a up and down roller coaster ride of emotions for video games. So, and then obviously there's Scarebound, the worst canceled game of all time, which still hurts to this day.
Yeah, dude, Scalebound should have come out. That game would have been so cool.
Well,
I was
maybe,
actually really excited for that game.
maybe
Well, yeah,
Xbox,
maybe.
maybe Xbox saved this from disappointment, and it was gonna be another one of Platinum Games stinkers. I don't know. We'll never know.
True.
I really want someone to do a retrospective on that game and see what the hell happened behind the scenes. I want to know because that was one of the coolest games I've
Yeah,
ever
that'd be
seen.
nice.
All right.
Yeah, I was actually pretty excited for that game.
Anything else you got to say on Platinum Games? I know you're not a
Uh,
platinum. I know you're not a platinum guy, really.
I like a few of them. I actually did play Vanquish, so um, yeah, I'm not like huge, but I feel like that's one game that I really did enjoy, and I've heard a lot of good things about Platinum Games, and then I heard about this game and how insanely bad it did, like beyond bad. It died pretty much at release. Uh, so
Yeah,
yeah, there's
you
not much
remember
to say.
that story? There was that screenshot of the Steam player base. It was like at like 14 players.
Yes, yeah.
I don't mean to laugh because that sucks. There were a lot of people that put a lot of hard work into this game. Just because a game sucks doesn't mean people didn't try to make a game. It just wasn't a good one. Like every game that comes out, somebody, well, that's not true. There are games that come out that are just for cash grabs, but like people definitely tried to make a good game here. They just didn't, you know. Like sometimes when
Yeah.
I'm writing a story, I always try to write a good story, but sometimes after I get done writing something, I read it and I'm like, huh, that sucks. And then I just move on with my life and try to write something different. But no one ever sets out to make something bad. Just sometimes things don't work out well. So it sucks for the developers behind this, but honestly, just stick to action games, Platinum Games. You're really good at that. Well, you're fairly good at that. Stop trying to make a live action. Again, not everybody needs a live action game. I don't.
Well, wait a minute, Mike. You're not really thinking here. They need a live action battle royale.
Multiplayer mobile
That's
game.
their next move. Clearly, yes. It has to be Bayonetta, live action, mobile game, battle royale. Done. We're good. Throw it in the books.
I'm getting
It's
a
gonna
migraine.
sell like
My head hurts so bad. It's just look, I don't know how games work on the back end. I'm not a developer of games, but you know, I do consider myself to be a pretty intelligent person, and it cannot be this hard. It can, it can't be this difficult to just realize yes, there's a lot of money to be had in live service games, but there's also money to be made in just making good games, right? Am I wrong in assuming
but
that?
but easy game make big money, hard game make little money.
You're gonna tell me that Babylon's
So
Fall was easy to make?
no,
That game was
no.
can't. That
But
game was delayed
but I
like
mean,
four
like these people
times.
that like try to make these live servers like mobile games are like that's what they think. You know, they're like easy game, big money. So
It really, what it really feels like sometimes is again, I feel bad for the actual developers, the people who make these games. It feels like the people in charge say, "Hey, we want a live service game because we want a lot of money," and the developers like, "We don't know how to do that, and we're not good at that. Why can't we just make a game they're good at?" And they're like, and the CEOs or CFOs or whatever, like, "Nope, nope, make a live service game, go." And they're like, "Oh, okay, well,
you know,
fuck."
this actually reminds me of something I watched recently. There was a video on YouTube. I don't remember the creator, so I'm sorry I'm not shouting out your name. But he had a video about like why scary games aren't scary or something like that. And it was a little thing about some games that really flopped and everything. And he brings an interesting point, and this kind of correlates with what you're saying. It's like a lot of these games, like these horror games that flopped, the biggest reason why is because they've never made horror games before. Or they don't understand what makes a horror game a horror game. Uh, like he even talked about one of the quotes about like the first Resident Evil game. The creator of the game was kind of like me. Like he was a scaredy cat. He didn't like horror stuff or anything. But what makes a horror game so good by most of these creators is because they know what's scary. Like clearly they get scared by it, so they know what's scary. It's just like these developers, like you're giving them a live action thing. They don't understand what makes a good live action game, but you're forcing them to make a live action game. It's bound to fail. It just won't work. You have to have people that understand it, that are passionate about it. And then clearly if you're picking a developer that isn't, and most of their games are mostly single player action games, it's bound to mess up in some way or form. So yeah,
Because live
I
service
just think it's
games
dumb.
is more about the back end, the support, what you're doing in the community, and all these other things that like isn't the same as just making like a single player character action game like Bayonetta, like Devil May Cry. You know, yes, you obviously you all games have to have good gameplay. That's not what I'm saying, but like the success of a live service game is really about the support that comes after. You know, look at Bungie and look at Destiny. You know, they know how to do it. Like yes, their games play very well, but also they support those games very well. They know how to treat a community, how to keep the community healthy, how to keep building upon a core of ideas. And that's really where the live service games live or fail, succeed or fail. And giving these games to these developers that have never done this before, have no back end support for these games, and saying, "Hey, go make one," it's doomed to fail. It is doomed to fail. I don't get it. Like I said, it can't be that hard. Maybe it is hard. I don't know. I'm not a developer. I'm just a dude that talks about them.
That's fair.
So, all right. Number fuck, what are we up to now? Number 10 on Around the
Yeah.
Point. Speaking of live service games and PlayStation, a little bit of news came out about their current plans with the releases. PlayStation CEO Herman Hulst says, "I think going forward, we'll see at least a year between our own platform, a PlayStation, and the ones on PC, with the exception of possibly, keyword, with the exception of live service games." He continues to say live service games are a little bit different in nature because you want to have a really strong community and really strong engagement right away when you go live. We might, in the case of our live service offerings, go day and date with PC and PlayStation platforms. Herman Holst, I love you. You made Killzone, you made Horizon. Quit saying might. Quit saying possibly. Just fucking say it. Everyone knows you're going to go day and date with PC on live service games, and if you don't, they're not going to work. So quit saying possibly.
Exactly.
Quit saying might. Just tell us the truth. Pull a CD Projekt
It's like
Red.
he's too scared to say. He's like, "Oh boy,
Well, he's probably been
people are gonna
told
get
not
really
to
pissed
say,
about
so
this." Yeah,
he's probably been saying, "Hey, like
that's fair.
don't give out a whole strategy." But like, no one's gonna copy the strategy. Well, I guess people do copy the strategy because it's a winning strategy. Like, just release your games day and date on with live service games. I understand, I don't even want like the single. Well, I don't know. I'm talking on my ass here. Quit talking. I hate. Oh my God, my head hurts so bad. I'm getting so mad this episode, dude. I'm just freaking out over everything. Video games are not difficult. Make a good game, release it, people will support it no matter where it is. I'm angry, Logan. I am very angry. I don't know why I've been so angry this episode. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, it makes sense. Clearly, I mean, it's a live service game, and if you're going to be planning to release it for PC, it's smart to just have it come out with it because yeah, live service games, I feel like you literally have to come out at the same time. You can't do a whole wait a year to come to PC because at that point, probably PC people don't give a crap. They're just like, well, whatever, I'll just play something else. So like, I think it's smart that they're gonna do the live service games day and date with PC, and then their exclusive thing with doing the whole year thing. If they want to do that and that's their plan, then that works for them. At least nonetheless, all these games are still coming to PC, which is good. So, and again, it brings more players into it. And the good thing about single player games too is clearly they have an infinite, in my opinion, time limit. You can always play it at any time, and it will still, you'll still enjoy it no matter what. So I think this strategy makes sense. Um, Obviously, for some people out there that don't like exclusive, blame you. I mean, I know that some people clearly want it to come day and date with PC, but that's not Sony's strategy. But I do think the live service thing does make complete sense. So I have no problem with that. I think that makes, like, if they didn't do this, then it probably wouldn't work out. So I think this makes complete sense.
All right. The final story on Around the Point. Let's wrap this episode up in great fashion. Logan, this is a story that you wanted to talk about, so I will turn over to you to do the introductions and to do everything.
So, to continue the chronicles of the PlayStation v Xbox Activision deal, um, basically PlayStation now and Google and I guess also Rockstar now are all basically trying to stop Microsoft from getting Activision. So by the way, if you listened to a couple episodes ago, we talked about the Brazil thing that was happening, which by the way, that did pass. That's moved on. And yet again, Microsoft has hit another roadblock because all these companies are continuing to try and stop the deal. This kind of reminded me of a Avengers Infinity War movie right now. We got the Avengers trying to stop Thanos kind of thing. Literally, PlayStation and them are continuing to try to influence these countries to try to stop the deal, saying Microsoft, quote unquote, is being anti-competition. They are trying to just take over, and not have any competition, which I find very ironic because that's what Sony's been doing for a lot, a lot, a lot. And the funny thing is, Sony is so above and beyond the competition, they have no right to say this because literally even Microsoft themselves have said, and me as a Microsoft man, this is true. It's just the truth. Like, take it in, It's the truth, guys. PlayStation has about like I would think they said it was like 2 or 3 times the amount of players that Microsoft does. It's a true fact, and literally, I mean, it's like, how is Microsoft being anti-competition when they already have way less players? Like, that just makes no sense. And there's also a continued trend of people making dumb articles online saying that Microsoft is going to take Call of Duty away completely when literally they have stated at least 15 times by now that they are not taking Call of Duty away. So, people that are listening, Call of Duty is not going away from PlayStation. Also, another plus, Microsoft has also completely confirmed there will be no exclusive content for all the rest of the Call of Duties. So there won't be like oh, I get zombies mode locked to my Call of Duty for a whole year. That's done. It'll be over with. So people that are complaining about this whole deal where they think Xbox is going to get all the exclusive stuff and all that, the only thing that Xbox is doing that is exclusive in, in a sense, I guess, is Game Pass. We're getting it on Game Pass day one and day, that's how it's going to go. That's it. So I just wanted to bring out the story on this continuation of the PlayStation and now I guess Google and Rockstar versus Microsoft Activision or Microsoft acquisition of Activision. Man, that was a hard thing to say. It's just a continuing story that keeps going on. I think it's really, really dumb because again, Microsoft has beyond stated more than a million times that it's how it is. Yes, they made a specific contract for a certain amount of years. That's just how it is. Businesses do this all the time. I don't see any problem with this at all. I clearly don't even think even after those years are done, will Microsoft take away Call of Duty from PlayStation? No, because PlayStation has a bigger player base. They are like, I think what they said was like almost 2/3 of what Activision Call of Duty, or well, what Call of Duty's player base is. So get over yourself. Stop this dumb childish thing, PlayStation. Get over it. This needs to end. Like, just let it go through. I don't understand how all these companies are acting like they're anti-competition when literally Microsoft's at the lowest point of the competition. So just saying. But that's all I really got to say. Just wanted to get this story out there because I find it very frustrating. Well, not frustrating. I don't really care, but it's also just interesting that PlayStation keeps doing this whole thing where they're like, oh, you're being anti-competition when literally Sony has been known for years upon years for their exclusivity, their anti-competition. They try to take things away all the time. It's just how they are. That's how they run their business. Take it as you will. But Microsoft is literally just trying to buy a company and freaking out about it. Like, yeah, they're going to be making a lot of money from it, but like, get over it. Sorry, Sony, you don't have enough money to go buy Activision. So that's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm, I'm frankly just kind of tired of talking about it. Like we said in the last episode, if it goes through, great. If it doesn't, great. Just let's move on with it. I don't care. Now I do know it's a job of these controlling parties to, like you said, make sure one company that has the money that the other one doesn't can't buy the other company out. That is the job, and that is the CMAs, the FTCs, the whatever the Brazilian controlling body is. That is their job to make sure that a rich company can't force another company out by just purchasing things. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. Like you said, I mean, PlayStation is the biggest console gaming, the biggest gaming company in the world overall in terms of engagement, in terms of sales, in terms of people out there that play on their consoles. So even if this does go through, I don't think that's going to happen. But that is their job in essence, is to make sure that's not happening. So that's all I have to say. I don't have too much to say about it. I said I'm tired of talking about it.
Yeah.
I want to
It's
move on with
just
my life.
yeah, it's just again, I just think it's very interesting, but also just so dumb that
Well, it
these
is
companies
interesting because
are fighting over something so dumb as this. Like, especially when literally it's been stated over a million times. Like, it's just dumb to see this story keep continuing, but I mean, it's news nonetheless, and I just wanted it out there.
yeah, no,
So
no, no, that's fine. Yeah, I do have to say though that saying something and actually like doing something are two very different things. I did read a story that one thing that Sony is asking to do, whether you agree with this or not, I don't really know or care, but they're just asking for like to have it in writing that it will continue past the current deal, and Xbox isn't willing to put that in writing. So I think that's one thing that
I mean,
PlayStation
why
has.
should they? Has Sony done anything for their company towards Xbox with anything ever?
No,
No. So that's what I mean. Why would Microsoft do that? Like, why, if they controlled Activision, what makes them have to do something for Sony when Sony has literally done nothing for Microsoft? If anything, Microsoft has given so much more towards PlayStation. I mean, literally, their whole cloud system is literally owned by literally Microsoft themselves. Microsoft has given a lot to them. So why would they do anything for PlayStation when they don't do anything for them? If anything, Activision, when they buy it, this is going to be even more of a bargaining chip for Microsoft than ever before. It'll finally get PlayStation off this whole we're just going to make everything exclusive crap from Xbox. So I think again, I don't think they need to. I mean, they have it down. They told them the years, and clearly, unless the PlayStation player base drops an insane amount, I don't think it's going to ever get taken away from PlayStation. That's the only reason I'll ever see it be taken away from PlayStation, unless it literally drops so excessively bad to the point where there's only like maybe what a couple thousand people on PlayStation playing Call of Duty. I don't think it's ever going to be taken away, and that's where I just don't believe it's ever going to get taken away. And honestly, I don't see what the whole worry behind it getting taken away because it probably won't. I mean, I don't think Xbox really plans to take it away from other consoles. That's not usually how Xbox usually runs, too. They're not Sony. Now, if Sony owned Activision, I guarantee you, on the dot, Call of Duty would be gone. It would be off of Xbox. It'd probably even be off PC. It'd probably just be a specific just for PlayStation thing. Guarantee it. Division. Now I know you're gonna give me the example of Destiny, but Destiny's nowhere close to as big of a game as Call of Duty. If PlayStation owned Call of Duty, it would be over. It would just be just on that console. Guarantee it. That's how I know that's what it would be like. Because that's just how Sony runs. And if you don't like that, you don't. If you do or don't, that's up to you. But that's just how Sony runs their business.
I
And clearly, from what I could tell with Microsoft on how they do their business, they usually try to give their games out to the biggest and wider audience. So therefore, shouldn't be any worries about this getting taken away. I don't think it's ever going to be taken away. I highly doubt it. I'm about 99% sure it will never be taken away. And I mean that 100%. So if Sony owned this, though, it would 100% be gone. It would be taken off Xbox. It'd probably be taken off PC. Who knows? But I mean, they did just say the live service thing. So maybe it would be on PC as well. But it would be taken off Xbox. Guarantee it. Like
mm,
on the dot. It'd be gone.
I mean, both these companies do that too. I mean, Microsoft took away
When did
Bethesda.
Microsoft
They just took away
okay,
Bethesda games.
Bethesda. Yeah, and Sony does the
$7 billion.
same thing. I mean, have you
Yeah.
seen Final Fantasy on Xbox? Have you seen that? I haven't because literally they take it off there.
Well, no, I'm just saying that like both the companies do it. So
Yeah, but Sony mostly does it, and you have to admit that. That's their whole strategy is exclusivity. That's their whole move. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's how they want to run their business. That's how it is. But I just think that people complaining about Microsoft when literally Sony has been doing it for years. Years. That's their whole game is to take away games from everyone else. And that's if you don't like that, you don't. If you like it, you like it. Each to your own. But I'm not trying to say that I'm choosing side. I'm just stating the truth. That's just how Sony runs their business. They do exclusivity. Microsoft usually doesn't. Yes, sometimes they do, like Bethesda. But I mean, people keep complaining about Xbox not having games. Well, here you go. They do have games, and it's going to be the Bethesda games mostly, probably. So it is what it is. But I'm just saying that it's the truth. Sony is known for their exclusivity, and they have been anti-competition for years. They try to take down the competition by making things exclusive, and it works out for them. So why would they stop? So, and I have no problem with that. That's how they run their business. I own a PlayStation. I like it. I know we're getting on a rant here, so I'm gonna try to cut it short. But still, I just think this whole thing is just a whole dumb news thing whether you side with Sony or whatever, I don't care what company wins out of this. I just think it's really dumb and very interesting that literally these companies fight over this whole thing with exclusivity when one company has been doing it for years. And it's just very dumb. So,
I like how in the fan bases of both these consoles, the idea of competition, or the definition of competition, has gotten way off the rails. I don't think people know how competition works. I don't think Xbox knows how competition works.
yeah.
Because they say, let's compete, but you're just buying the thing. So you're not competing, you're just buying it.
Yeah, I mean, Sony would do the exact same thing,
I'm
though.
not saying they didn't. I'm just saying, like, yeah, the definition
Yeah.
of competition is dumb. And I'm talking more about, like, the stupid fans on Reddit and all that go around and was like,
Oh, yeah.
oh, why doesn't PlayStation just make something better than Call of Duty? I'm like, dude, PlayStation could make a game, let's say Killzone does come out, and it is better than the best Call of Duty of all time. Whatever you think the best Call of Duty is, say it's better than that in every regard ever possible. It's the greatest first-person shooter ever made. Call of Duty would still outsell it every single year.
Yeah, it's just the truth.
Yeah, and it's
Call of Duty's a beast. Call of Duty's a beast that never stops.
Madden
No matter even if it's worst.
Madden outsells everything. NBA 2K outsells everything. And I don't know what point I'm trying to make it. I'm more just annoyed by those things. I hate sports games.
Me too. I actually did enjoy some of the more classic sports games out there, but like,
Oh yeah, okay, sorry,
yeah, they're all the
correct.
same
I
now.
hate modern sports games. Correction.
Yeah, modern sports games are garbage. Yeah.
So, all right, let's wrap this up, ladies and gentlemen. That was the end of Around the Point. That was all the news we had for you this episode. Let us know what you think of some of the things we talked about. Did you like the Super Mario Brothers trailer? Do you like Chris Pratt being Chris Pratt? Are you excited about all the CD Projekt Red games coming out? How about Need for Speed? That one pretty good. And are you gonna buy Far Cry 6 at $120? Let us know down below,
Yeah.
please. We can't wait to hear from you guys. Going in now to the review roundup for the past couple weeks of this month. Dakar Desert Rally came out and got a 64. Overwatch 2 saw its much anticipated release and got a 78. Dome Keeper 77. Speaking of sports games, NHL 23 73. PGA Tour 2K23 78. PC Building Simulator 2 81. That game's actually really good. I like that game. Lego Brick Tales 74. The Last Urukai 65. Kamawaza Way of the Thief 57. Scorn 71. Star Trek Prodigy Supernova 67. Lost Eidolons 70. And Cultic in all caps 81. What do you think?
Wow, Scorn really didn't score too well, did it?
Well, I think it
71.
was this. So I didn't get a chance to talk to you because you've been gone for a couple weeks. I didn't get a chance to talk to you about it, and it was perception versus reality. It's the same kind of thing we're seeing a little bit with Gotham Knights. Is what the game actually is wasn't what people thought, and wasn't really what they showed. And what Scorn actually is a puzzle game, not a shooter game.
Really?
Yeah, it is
Whoa.
100% puzzle game. Each and every area that you walk into, your main goal is to figure out how to get past it. I was watching SkillUp's review of the game, and he said there's literally only 2 enemies that you have to fight. There's only 4 total enemies in the game. That's not the game. It's not
Wow.
a first-person shooter. It is a first-person puzzle game. And that's not the way they showed it. That's not the way that we perceived it. Maybe
Yeah,
I
that's
personally
not good.
missed something in the previews and the lead up to it. But it is that thing of where perception and people's expectations versus the reality of what the game actually is. And whoever's fault that was for the mixed messaging, I don't know. But that's, I think, where a lot of people got the game and they were like, oh, this is not Call of Duty with blood and gore. This is The Witness with blood and gore.
Yeah, I was really surprised about that actually. Everything I've seen pretty much looked like like a Doom. That's gonna kind of reminded me of. Like it looked like a Doom shooter kind of game. Again, it's like a classic shooter. That's what it reminded me of. I'm really surprised to hear that it's basically a puzzle game. I could definitely see why people are disappointed with that. I haven't looked at the page to see what kind of little markers they put on the bottom are what the description of the game is. But if it does say it's a shooter and everything is shown as a shooter, that's really bad marketing. Which I'm not gonna lie, I will say the marketing definitely did kind of again remind me that it just looked like a shooter game, and people are excited about that. But to know that it's more of a puzzle game, I will say their marketing kind of failed on them because they didn't really. Again, I don't know. I didn't watch everything, but the things I did watch definitely looked just like a shooter. So, and I feel like a lot of people's perception was it was a shooter. So
So
that's kind of weird.
this is the description from the developer who's Ebb Software, whatever that is. It says Scorn is a first-person biopunk survival horror adventure video game.
Doesn't even say puzzles at all. Okay, interesting.
And then
Yeah,
in the genres that they include, it says adventure game, indie game, survival horror, puzzle game, shooter game. Because technically there is
but
shooting
then why
in
don't
it.
you put that in the description?
Technically there is shooting, but there's not like a
Yeah,
lot of shooting. So
that's weird. Yeah, like I really think they did a really bad job of marketing this game. Because yeah, it seems like they wanted to hide that little puzzle section in there a little too much. Like they didn't even put it in the description. They had to put it as a little tag. So if you literally didn't go out of your way to look for that tag, you probably wouldn't even know. Like that's yeah. So no wonder it probably scored so badly because people probably had their expectations on a shooter, and what they got, as
yeah,
you said, was
it
a puzzle game.
it really is. Yeah, it's entirely a puzzle game. Like I said, watching the reviews and all that, and the whole idea is you go into these different areas, and your main goal is to figure out how to move on. That's it.
I'm actually
Interesting.
surprised too. Overwatch went down. I thought it was at 80.
It was when it first came out. It did come down a little bit. So
I still want to play it. I actually have been tempted to download it on my Xbox to play it because
I have not been
I want
tempted.
to see how it is. So
I'm too far out
that's
from
fair.
that, man. Like I just I don't even know where to start. I don't even know what I'll start. Apparently, like, your unlocked characters carry over from game to game. So like us starting brand new will have to unlock all the characters from the get-go, but the people who have been playing it for years open Overwatch 2 with all their unlocked characters and everything, which I guess is fair to them. But like for me, I'm like, okay, well then I'm just not gonna jump in because I'm playing 5 years behind.
Well, with Overwatch, I think they were all just unlocked at the get go. Because like when I owned it, it had all the characters. So I guess when I would get in, I would probably just, I guess, as you said, have them all unlocked. Because it used to never be like that. So I guess that's their new thing. I do think it's a bad idea. They should just have everything unlocked at the get go. Because a lot of people, and I kind of agree, it's kind of dumb to. It's kind of like the whole Star Wars Battlefront 2 thing again. What was the quote again? What was it? What was a really bad quote they said for Battlefront 2 with unlocking like Darth Vader and Luke? It was, I guess it was like being proud or something like that. That's pretty much how this reminds me of. It's like you should just have it all unlocked. Like this is the kind of game that says people want to play all these different characters. To have it locked behind not a paywall, just a long, a probably egregious way of unlocking all the characters. I don't know. I haven't played it yet. But who knows? Maybe it's not as bad as we think it is. I haven't played it again. I played Overwatch 1. I semi enjoyed it. I didn't hate it. And I heard Overwatch 2 is literally the exact same. I actually watched Digital Foundry's video on it. Even they were like, "Oh, this doesn't really mark a sequel. It's literally Overwatch 1 with a very slight coat of paint. Very, very slight. Some characters got like a more upgraded models, but the maps look basically the same. So it's really not an upgrade almost at all. It's literally just them making it free to play. Um, but yeah, I mean, I still want to try it out. Maybe I'll download on the Steam Deck. I did hear it runs very well, so maybe I'll try that out on there. We'll
All
see.
right. Out this week, the start of the clusterfuck that is the video game world at the end of the year. A big week here. On October 18th, A Plague Tale Requiem comes out on PS5 for Xbox Series X and S, Switch, and PC. Ghostbusters Spirit Unleashed comes out on PS5 and for Xbox Series X and S and PC. Them's Fighting Herds, whatever that is, comes out on PS5 and 4, Xbox Series X and S, Switch, and PC. Unbeknownst to Logan, on October 19th, Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection comes out on PC. On October 20th, Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hopes comes out on Nintendo Switch. Second Extinction comes out on Xbox Series X and S and PC. Vampire Survivors on PC. The Jackbox Party Pack number 9 comes out on PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Switch, PC, iOS, and Android. Oh, that was a lot. On October 21st, Gotham Knights comes out on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC, and 30 frames a second. New Tales from the Borderlands comes out on PS5 and 4, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Persona 5 Royal comes out on PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Switch, and PC. And there's your week.
Dude, this is a freaking insane week. That's all I gotta say.
I'm pretty sure
Wow.
the rest of the year is going to be like this.
Dude, this is insane. I mean, what we got Plague Tale, we got the Ghostbusters game, which, each their own. It does look kind of cool though. Um Uncharted, finally coming to PC. Mario and Rabbids, which really hope that scores pretty well. Dude, I mean, look at all these games. We got even the Jackbox game coming out. Heck yeah. Um, Gotham Knights, 4K 30. Woo. um, uh, New Tales and freaking Persona 5 coming to everything. Which I'm really interested to see what the new additions they add to the new Persona 5 Rio version. I wonder like what kind of upgrades they're gonna get. Because I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was just like I thought PlayStation wasn't gonna get like an upgrade. I thought it was just gonna be like a 4K 30 kind of game. But no, they're upgrading it, so I'm curious what kind of upgrades they're gonna do. Maybe it'll do 4K 30 or 60. Oh, sorry, that's Gotham Knights 4K 30. But I mean, what Persona 5 is gonna get, I'm curious. But yeah, this is an exciting week.
I think they can pull
So
off 60 frames considering Persona 5 originally came out on the PS3.
I don't know how detailed is their world.
Apparently very detailed. Can't run at 30 frames a
Yeah,
second. 60 frames a second. All right,
yeah,
let's get on out of here, sir. What do you think?
yeah. It's been a week, I guess. I'm excited for this week though. I'm excited to see more games and hear about the news and everything.
All right, ladies and
Get a
gentlemen.
very busy week of hearing games. So
Yeah.
go on though.
No, you're good. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of our show. Everyone who's either been watching or listening, we just want to take this time and thank you from the bottom of our hearts or my empty black hole. Without your support, we could not be doing what we're attempting to do here at the Experience Point. But please continue to help us to grow by telling everyone how awesome we are. Or if you don't like us, shut the fuck up and don't say anything. We would really appreciate it. Logan, any last words?
As always, and it's good to be back. By the way, happy to see everybody came back. Hope you guys are all having a good. Well, now we're in the fall time, so Christmas is around the corner. Happy Halloween, by the way. And other than that, I guess you guys will hear us on the next one. So see you guys. Oh wait, also didn't want to forget. I want to shout out our Patreon Platinum member, Logan Leffler. As always, we really appreciate the support. And yeah, thank you. We really appreciate all the support you guys give. Whether it be obviously liking or subscribing too. So see you guys on the next one.
Once again, thanks everyone for listening and follow along with us. I hope everyone has a great week. And as always, we'll talk to y'all in the next one. See you guys.
See ya.